Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sesame. Sweet. Some call it outside. And some people call it.
Oh, Dave, come on. Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
Can you ever not cough at the beginning of the show? Like, just do
I know all about that.
Hide over the corner.
I'm just giving you something to talk about. You know, I didn't know if you had anything interesting happen this week. I just wanted to provide fodder.
You don't have to do anything. You just be there, and you are the fodder. You are.
Is that really that fucking plant?
Yes.
You're totally fucking with me.
No, that's the backseat, dude.
Right, hold on, let me get it.
Yeah, dude. I found a backseat and what I think was sour diesel. Yeah.
And it was that tiny, tiny little thing last week, and you want me to believe that this week it's that.
It's that, dude. And Vinny even dropped it on its head.
Vinny even dropped it on its head.
Like a newborn baby. Like, he already, like, straight out of the hospital, like, already dropped it. You know what I mean? Like, what? Dude, you haven't even left the hospital yet.
I mean, I don't need any prodding to give Vinny shit, but come on. This week, after that video he just sent us, he's like the fucking hawk whisperer.
If we could have it move like this, it would be like a great little companion thing on the show.
Get a fan on it.
Like a little ventriloquist plant.
That poor little plant.
How about we tie a string on it and somebody sits down there and
string.
I punched it.
Oh, yeah, string. Good one. Vinny?
Yeah, Vinny just punched it
I need
today.
some string. No, Vinny dropped it off the counter, right?
Yeah.
Flipped upside down and
Totally.
came straight on its head.
Yep. Pulled it out of the dirt.
That is usually a good way to enhance the plant there a little bit, a little stress,
And then
high stress, we would call that instead of low stress.
Miles
training.
was here the
That's
day
high
after
stress
that.
training.
Yeah, Miles was here the day after, and he goes, "That's a good root ball stress test for sure."
Extreme stressing.
Yeah.
Extreme plant stressing.
For sure.
Yeah, you got there you go. That's a whole new style.
Yeah.
So if you're ever popping beans,
But it's been like that too when I had like outdoor plants that got hit with really heavy rain and they split down the middle. You come down, you're like, oh my God, it's over. Those
Strongest.
fuckers come back, and then you got like two plants.
Right.
Well, I mean, not as good as the one big one, but still, you got two, and they just fucking do this like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. My entire stem is split all the way down from top to bottom. Somehow it pulls it together. You're just like, wait a minute, where does it even move? Like, 'cause, in your mind, it's like a big straw, right? But it's not.
that's 22 days.
There's millions of, there's like, it's moving up in little bits. Not
22 days since it came out of the ground.
22 days since it came out of the ground.
17 days.
You're paying attention to this thing. The moment.
Well, he doesn't want it to become a paper towel.
There's a photo.
Yeah.
That was easier to track because there was a photo. I was like, damn, that came out of the
Thank
ground.
God for phones and dates on your photos.
Yeah.
That's how I do my taxes. That's how I do everything. Everything's based on my photos. Oh, let me see.
I was in Oklahoma.
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
I was in Oklahoma. Yeah, there's a photo.
There's a
photo of me on the side of the road.
So chat says Dave is gone with the 14er shirt this week, and it only took him 6 hours to decide. Is that true? The over under 6 hours.
He almost wore this. I know that. I know that he came.
No, it was the weed should taste good.
Oh no, you almost wore that. Sorry.
He's
He's got a huge wardrobe. It's like 4 black T-shirts that say something weedy on them.
Dude.
I smoke weed. 14er. Adam Dunn Show.
You can't bring me
weed
down
should
today.
taste good. And what else you got, Dave? In that incredible.
I got
closet?
motherfucking Adam Dunn shirt. Yes,
Can't
I
wear
smoke
that.
weed.
I already said that.
I have dabbing and stabbing.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a
dabbing
rare
and
one.
stabbing.
I still have that.
I still have it too.
I have
that's floating.
fish shit because everybody mistakes it for an anti-fish shirt.
That's a good idea.
You know.
Yeah.
My go-to is the flag shirt, man. You know, and the hoodie because
So that's got the most
I don't have to
stains.
talk to anybody in Boulder.
That shirt has the most holes around the belly.
It does.
Right? Like at least a bunch of them. Isn't it weird how, like, you get all these little tiny? I mean, it's just
from the
smoke.
belt. Oh.
No, it's
No,
from
it's from
smoking
smoking.
weed.
The little
Belt.
bits comes right off.
No, but it's really noticeable. Like I had every single one of my things had a hole right down at the bottom of the middle of the shirt. Like it was like fuck. Yeah, to the point where sometimes it'd be like ridiculous.
To a fault.
I was even considering at one point making a designed T-shirt with like targets down around that area, so you could like see if you got like doing pretty good. Got like a bullseye right here. Got
Points.
two bullseyes and almost
Full ember, half ember.
Right.
You know, burn through.
How many holes can you? Especially because when you roll hash joints, that's when it really does it.
I've been rolling
Or
hash
doinks,
joints.
as the kids say these days.
Doinks.
What are they? Doinks?
Oh, doinks. Roll a doink, yo.
Are you kidding me?
It's gone from hash holes to
No cap.
doinks. No cap. Exactly.
Wait, what does no cap mean?
Oh my God, you
Geez,
boomer
I can't.
motherfucker.
I'm done.
You
I
boomer
can't.
motherfucker.
Do you just want me to fake it and not ask? What does no cap mean?
Nick,
Whatever.
are you hearing this?
Yeah, we just need a definition.
We need a child.
No cap. Definition. Like,
What that's supposed to be? That's just a reaction.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader? No, nobody wants to tell me.
I think it's just like for real. Like, yo, for real. Like, no cap, son.
Yeah, the language changed in the last few months.
It did. It did.
Really changed.
No, it's funny too because it's the most obvious.
It is, right? Yeah, because
'Cause
even
they're-
ours was like still.
We didn't have social media to sit here and fucking talk about it all
Right.
day long either.
Yeah.
Well, was that
Our parents did not have social media. That's where we're at now. We're at the stage where the parents of the kids have. That's why it's becoming like this whole, you know what I mean? 'Cause it's like,
Oh, yeah.
there's a whole skit to do every time there's guys going through like drive-throughs. Did you see
saw
that one?
I saw that one.
You saw that one, right?
Yeah. I saw
It's got
that
the
one.
two embarrassed kids in the back, and they're like, "Oh my God, Dad, I can't believe you're doing that." He's like,
no? What is it?
He's like ordering
That
in
is
Gen
a
Z
good one.
language.
He's ordering in Gen Z.
Yeah.
McDonald's,
And
yeah.
his two kids are in the back, like just like
cringing,
Oh, God.
cringing, like
good.
a little cringers they are.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's because we're cracking their code. They hate
pull it
that.
up.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that.
No, they give us the code right now. The reel going around right now is usually one parent. It's usually the mom sitting next to the daughter, or it's the dad sitting next to the son, and they're saying the Gen Z word, and then
It's my style is ridiculous.
the traditional English word, the correct word.
Oh, Skibbity, that's the other one. Yeah, that's
not
right.
Skibbity toilet, please. That is the worst. The worst part about
What?
that. The worst part about that is knowing that our favorite MC Skibbity is now like lost in the fucking ether because if you go
Oh,
on just
yeah.
the word Skibbity,
It's
it's just Skibbity
Yeah.
toilet. It's like fuck.
Are you for real? It's skibbity toilet. You're not pronouncing it just wrong.
No, it's Skibbity toilet. That's what I'm saying. He just is the unfortunate situation of having that's his fucking
name beforehand. Yeah.
and he's not here with us anymore, so he can't defend himself. Yeah, could be worse.
You want to know? Here's something interesting. So, last week I had Christina Cannabis with me from Las
she was
Vegas.
cool.
She was.
Did you? Oh, wait a minute. What happened?
What happened? What?
The makeup. I mean, we set it
Oh
up.
yeah, we did it. I sent you the photos.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have it right now.
For sure.
It would be
No,
this-
sent you the photos.
It would have been the whole show.
It was it.
That would have
No.
been the show.
She talked 10 times as much after the mic was off. Of
course,
I'm
they always
like,
do.
everybody, you gotta just forget that the microphone is there. Just talk.
Yep.
Don't sweat it for a second.
Well, they're
like
waiting for a
Mark.
cue. They're waiting for like, okay, and now you can never do that on
Well-
our show because we don't give you the cue. or
She
we
sent
don't-
me a picture on Instagram of Dave in the makeup, and
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, fucking
Okay, put
nailed
it
it.
up.
Nailed it.
There it is.
God.
That's-
Even got the little weird black mark on the side.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
did really good.
Turned me into a
She
29-year-old
thought that was a real
Scandinavian
thing,
man.
and she made a little earring out of it. And she was like,
Yep.
"Oh, it's an earring."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, that's actually a magic marker."
No, she's
No, it was me trying to crop it and actually did
I
it.
figured out what it was because I did that the other day.
Oh shit!
That's funny.
Well,
There's an undo button when you do that, just so you know. I just didn't see it.
I missed it.
Anyways,
Oh, almost smoked that.
Yeah, you never know.
Chad is wondering if you're rolling a snot joint, Dave.
Yes, 100% snot. Nothing but the snot.
No.
So help me.
You guys, really, you dug deep for that one. That's so cool. I mean, were you pretty much the whole week you were working that one up? You know, figuring that, what would I be doing in the first 5 minutes of the show? Maybe I'll be rolling a joint, and I'll come up with a zinger.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Zingers.
No, I was just making sure because when the person who grows your cannabis actually has a pretty nice.
Hey, we haven't talked about any of our guests.
breeding
We haven't even talked about the.
Oh,
Gotta
no,
get
we
the seeds
haven't.
out.
And
Star
actually,
State.
one of our guests is just pulling up right now.
I was going to think we should probably do a pre-intro before
Is
she
it
gets
Ed
here.
Rosenthal?
It's not Ed.
Not Ed?
It is not Ed.
Wow.
We have the world
Oh,
famous.
drum roll.
Drum roll,
Get the
please.
drum roll. Oh, jeez. Drum
You thought we were
roll.
over there? We're
Yeah.
on this side.
Oh, we're over here. Sorry.
Sorry.
Have you been sitting out there?
Sorry.
Wah, wah, wah. This is Gene West. Yes.
Yep.
That's all yours. That's the
That's the
makeup-
green room.
makeup green room.
Yeah. She's going to the green room.
Going to the green room.
Charmin is on the top.
Whoa.
Listen, the
Show
last guest that
So
went in there
fresh and clean.
before an interview might have done some ketamine, so don't do that.
Don't touch any of the.
Yeah, don't have any
things
ketamine
around.
beforehand.
Well, we'll see if she goes between the car and the
So we have Miss
bathroom the whole
Jane
time.
West coming on in a little bit, and James Bean, man on the scene. He's preparing questions. He's going for round 2.
Oh, boy.
Wait, hold on. Let's back up for a sec. I think now is the time we should invite Rio back in.
He's coming.
Now that RFK has dropped out of the race, we do need a third-party candidate to keep them in line.
Yeah.
I think Rio could be that guy. Mm-hmm. We just have to
we
help him
have-
craft his
You
policies.
got, what's his name? You got that other dude,
What other dude?
Vernon Supreme, dude. He's the shit. Everyone should vote for him.
Vernon Supreme.
Yes, sir.
Is he pro-cannabis?
Yeah, ponies. Everyone gets a pony.
Everyone gets a pony?
Yeah, that's his whole.
Fuck.
That's his whole deal.
Oh, I'm down.
So,
I'm down.
I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
yeah, no
A
problem.
lot of ponies, a lot of poop, pony poop everywhere. Be a whole industry. I will
Pony
come
poop.
by and I will.
Why do we want ponies?
That's his
Don't-
entire
oh,
policy.
look, Mark doesn't want a
Oh,
pony.
you're gonna be Mr.
See.
Downer, Debbie Downer
No,
over
no, no.
here?
I mean, yeah. No, no.
Give it to your neighbor. Neighbor can have 2.
Okay, dude.
Everybody
Everyone
could have
gets
had a
one?
pony
What the fuck
except
do I
for
need a
Mark.
pony for?
Fucked it
Everyone
up.
gets one, and if you don't want it, you have to give it
Sorry.
to
You
your
have
neighbor.
to eat it.
That'd be part of the deal, I guess, too.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want. It's up to you. It's your pony, bro.
Yeah, and you're responsible for it. All its poop.
Yeah, I don't want a horse of any sort. Okay.
Better with Jane just walked in. She is in the green room freshening up. We have a team of
We have a
makeup
whole, yeah,
artists.
they're going nuts. They're like, oh my God, I can't. It's like Edward Scissorhands
big
himself is in there.
Very.
Preparing the hair and makeup.
He is?
And we also have James Bean, man on the scene, out there in the world with his late. See, last week it was the latest, greatest in the corral, but apparently there's even more. He's got Skunk Really Works, which is hilarious because you got Seeds Here Now and Skunk Really Works. It's like these are just all random sentences that are now called companies, right? But Skunk Really Works, Franklin Beans will be on the show.
Oh my goodness. He went crazy
You
with
didn't even know what I'm
AI.
talking about.
Skunk Really Works is the name of the.
Yes.
His, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See?
I get it.
I know, you were confused.
I was very confused at first, yes. I'm not going to lie. But now that I got a handle on it, I think we're going to be okay.
Because it's I like those, because mine was Hemp Works back in the day, right? And so I got to use that all the time in random sentences. So when you have a company like that and Seeds Here Now, it's like same deal. You get to, so when do you want them?
Now,
Now.
Yeah.
Where? How about right here?
right here.
Who's going to give him to you? James Bean.
Man
James
on the
Bean,
scene.
That's right.
Man on the scene. Exactly.
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly.
I've just been
Hey.
making protest chants lately.
Wow, he's got all the Jane drops ready.
No, it's like really.
You can adjust the height on the seat.
Oh, wait,
too.
do we have
Oh,
the Jane
okay.
West ashtray?
First sit on it, and then you can adjust it. You just
Okay.
got the little handle
Set.
deal in case you're hiring.
Where's the Jane West
I'll be
ashtray?
honest, I think you guys should move over.
Oh,
I think you
geez.
should move over
Mark.
just a
No,
tad.
they got you.
We're good?
Mark's
oh,
got
oh,
it.
great.
There we
Together,
go.
don't worry.
Yeah, I was just waiting until you got on there. Come on.
Guys, I'm so ready.
Hi.
Jane, put your headphones on and turn your phone sideways.
Professional phone.
Yeah, so we can get a better
My
view.
phone is
Yeah.
on,
And did you bring a lighter?
I did.
Sweet.
I always do because you guys are fucking rookies.
I know.
Here.
Sweet.
Have you ever been on here where we had a lighter?
I mean,
Are you in the mafia?
To light the weed to smoke it?
The problem is it's like feast and famine with lighters. I either have
Yeah.
thousands of them because they're all custom lighters and you have them forever, and then one day you don't have them, and then you're like, I'm never gonna buy a lighter. Are you kidding me? We've had so many. Plus, you do trade shows, and that's my one thing I'd like to scoop up.
I
as much
see
as
the
can.
end of every lighter I buy.
Mark sees the end of every lighter.
I buy. I'm serious. I use that lighter.
I look forward to smoking something
I
from my New
smell
York partner.
What's going on?
What?
Whoa.
Keep it together, Jane.
I know, guys.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Wait, you know what just fell? The thing that Dave needs.
New bowl?
No, I broke it. I told her. I asked if she could bring me one.
A bowl?
Yeah, a bowl, which is exactly what we needed.
Got
Where
it.
is Jane's ashtray, Mark?
Jane's ashtray.
Oh, guys. Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know, Dave. I'm sorry,
Ordering
Dave.
more.
The white in front.
I mean, it's insulting. She brought us like a $3,000
I think it's
crystal.
over on the.
It's
Oh, yeah,
$30 MSRP.
Crystal.
Accessible price point.
Dave.
Crystal.
Come on,
It
Dave.
looks like that. That was the goal. This is from my new New York grower who's
Really? Allegedly.
sun-grown.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Right.
Grown
right.
here in Colorado.
No,
magically
yeah,
from
no.
New
A
York.
random
We don't-
person
we
sent
don't
it to
want
me and
anyone
was
to
like,
think
"You
you-
should try this."
Yes.
Okay,
There you
well,
go.
let's-
Do you need a lighter?
I-
We got plenty of time.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to
Here's
doing this for like
here's
a week.
yo-tip. You mean you saved it for us for a week?
Oh yes, I absolutely did. I only had one, and I saved it. And then I also decided I'm staying for the whole show.
Really?
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
you saw
saw-
that? Of course you did.
You saw it
'Cause
coming,
you run
Vinny?
the shit around
That's cool
here.
because we have James Bean coming on later. And you
I'm
can
glad
hang out
someone
with
runs
us.
Oh, that's okay. I can. Give him
You
watch.
can hang.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the more the merrier. That's
Hold
how
on. Can we pause for a second?
What's
Yeah.
that?
I've known him, 4 or 5 years now?
He's eating food.
I'm seeing him eat food.
That's
I'm
his own
serious.
food. He
Guys,
made it
can you get a
himself.
camera on him, please, Mark?
No.
Please. I'm serious. I've never seen him eat food before, ever.
Do you know why?
We pull onto the side of the road and eat, and he looks and he goes, nope, can't do it. They don't have mac and cheese.
Oh, Mark and I ate well on the road.
Yeah, we ate the whole
Are
time
you
on the road.
fucking serious?
Yeah, we brought a brisket with us. And
Oh,
we
that's
ate
why.
everywhere
Yeah.
on the way.
When he was with us, come on, back me up here,
When I
Adam.
leave your show early, and the past couple times I've left the show before 7:10, and I come straight up here to the barbecue, and my teenagers and husband expect amazing barbecue from this place, which they always get.
Yep.
And he is eating up here, and so I've bet this. Am I
Damn.
true or false?
All right.
Yeah, he was eating.
Absolutely.
He did some cornbread up.
You better get your your
Vinny has
pre-order in now.
slightly cured his food phobia by having to be forced to make food now.
That's good.
So that it forces him to actually have to eat food now. So it's all coming around.
It's not junk food.
There was a point in time though where you definitely didn't see him eat real food. Like it was like,
No,
what
I
are you
did
doing?
not.
He was like, I've had friends exactly like Vinny too, where it's just like,
Hot
so you live on
Pockets.
like cardboard or something? Is that what your main?
Hot
like,
Pockets.
What do you live on?
What is your main?
Totino's.
Yeah.
There you
that's
go.
No.
Pizza rolls.
it. Yeah, Jane.
Do you
No,
wrap
not
them
the-
in spinach?
No.
Kale.
Oh, God.
Wait, did you just say something that might be considered a leafy green?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Unless
grow
you-
them.
No.
The only
Yeah,
leafy
I know
green
it's
I
so good for you.
Vinny doesn't have anything to do with
Calcium
it.
in
I
them,
smoked no
which
leafy
blows your
greens.
mind. You're like, that's supposed to be a cow.
Jane, no. Okay, he's a weirdo. That's why I had a moment. He picked up food and started chewing it. So
What the hell am
I
I
had to alert the
One lid now.
note
Good
the
job,
time in the
Dave.
ship's
So,
log.
well, all right, let's welcome Jane back to the show.
Welcome, welcome.
We're always excited. Dave told us, weeks ago? She's coming on in 3 weeks. I was like, really? Is that really going to happen? Or is it going to not happen? And then magically it happens.
Well, Adam, do you understand why?
What's that?
She's famous now.
I know,
I
she's
mean, she's
organized.
doing like Sally Jesse Raphael, who else? Ricky Lake, and Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, think
Yeah.
of all.
That
And
was
she's
the
actually
last thing
be
I
doing.
mentioned on our last show.
What was
what she said.
What was his name? Who used to run up and down the rows with the white hair? The first original guy.
You're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
of
yeah.
Price is Right.
No, Phil Donahue.
He just
Wait,
passed
Phil
away.
Donahue just passed away
Shout
last
out to
week
Phil.
at 88.
Yeah, have respect for
Yeah,
the
shout
Lots
out.
For the
of
hue.
notations from his wife, Marla Thomas.
How many
which is Danny
when you
Thomas's
dead days
daughter,
off
Yes,
and you get
correct.
stuck.
St. Jude's.
Stuck with your
Yeah.
grandmother watching Donahue. That's like
Yeah.
total third grade shit right there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it was he.
Well, there were
When you
only
got-
4 choices then.
Well, when you got to when you got to see Donahue, it meant you were not in school. It was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
why am I getting to see this?
Right, he was on at 2:00, right?
It
or
was like a
something
weird
that.
time where it wasn't like, yeah, it was definitely cutting into your normal time
Yeah.
frame. So, Dr. Phil, that's just interesting.
Dr.
because
Phil.
Well, before we get there, why don't you tell us how does an appearance on a real show actually work? Like,
Yeah.
because I send you a text.
That's a great question.
You send me a text back. We
Yeah.
go, that work's done.
Yeah.
What is the process of
Yeah.
like a real produced show that has people behind the scenes?
I have so much to say about this.
Well, let's start at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay, so first of all, anyone's watching this that thinks that like I'm a giant cannabis brand with a decade in the business should know that I have never had a PR company. I've never paid for an advertisement in any way, shape, or form, and I've never paid for someone to call CNBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, or any of the networks I've been on and put me on the show. So if you figure out a way to keep doing something that seems newsworthy, even a decade later, someone will find you. And that's what happened with Dr. Phil. Like it was January, and we rent a place in the mountains for a couple of weeks, and there's usually 1 week where from like Tuesday to Thursday, no one's there. And I was like, okay, I usually set that week to like set up my goals for the company for the year and just be alone with like no.
Everyone pay attention. This is what a professional does to succeed in life.
Alone though. Wait, I get the me is just me, so I got to be like, you got to do this shit, or else it's not gonna happen. So, I woke up that Tuesday morning. I was gonna be there just 2 nights alone to set up my year's goals, and the phone rang. I know it's a Texas number, but it didn't say like spam, and I answered it because these are my 3 days to work. I was like, hey, I was probably procrastinating ultimately. And he was like, hello, this is Sam Schachter from the Dr. Phil show. And I was wondering, we're
Is that
filming
his real name, Sam Schachter?
It really is. And he's an
Write that
amazing
down, Mark.
producer. He actually doesn't work for Dr. Phil anymore, according to my understanding.
Because he booked you on the show.
I don't know, but he doesn't work there anymore. And so he said, we're filming next week on
Plenty of
a
time,
show
plenty of
called
time.
on a show called Is It Just Weed? And I mean, it took me back, but I was like, okay, maybe, because I actually do have this week to maybe prepare. And he said he called back the next day, and then I spent that whole Tuesday watching basically everything Dr. Phil has ever said about cannabis, and he calls it marijuana, of course.
Marijuana.
Yeah, and he found quite a group of stories to tell the world. Exactly, and just, really puts out there a vibe about this particular substance that I don't think is accurate. And I was like, so I took like 36 hours, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it no matter what. Because I just knew that no matter what I would say is my truth. Like, I knew no matter how, it was very intimidating. It's the most,
but he
the
wasn't gonna
most
be able to stop
intimidating thing
you.
ever done. Right.
They might edit it out afterwards, but they
Right.
weren't going to stop you from saying it.
He wasn't
out
going
loud.
to intimidate me into saying something I didn't believe
For sure.
about this substance. I knew I would stick to my guns. And it was also kind of exciting. Like, I was like, because I really do try not to waste my time and be on programs where the people listening actually don't think what we think. Like, being on programs like yours where I'm preaching to the choir, that is so fun and so great.
But it's
But-
not as effective.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, but it is an opportunity to speak out, like you say, outside the echo chamber that
Yeah.
we can't help but live in. But so
course.
how were you received? Was it
Mm-hmm.
well, wait, before we get there, you said he assembled a bunch of people. Who were the other people?
Okay, so the other pro-cannabis people, the only other pro-cannabis person, his name was Aaron Smith, and he works for the Industry Association.
NCIA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah. He was
No, he's the head.
positioned-
He's the head of the NCIA.
I think he's
Aaron
been there for
Smith.
like a really long time.
Forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He is.
You do.
Oh, good.
You do.
Then they
Bigger
didn't.
guy, right? Kind of a bigger guy?
He's not a pushover.
He is not.
No,
very-
he's a short guy.
not
He's
a
small.
Start that druggy
He is shorter
crap
than I
on
am.
me.
Big guy, yeah. Or no.
Have
little
me
guy.
ass out of here.
But
in 2
he's
seconds.
He's really good. I mean, they did not bring
He
a
is-
schlub.
Hold on. we
knows
got-
his talking
I think
points.
Dr. Phil is calling in. Hold on.
Hold on. Bring him on.
Oh.
You start that druggy crap on me, I will walk your happy ass out of here in 2 seconds.
So that was actually what he
Nice.
said to Jane in before
Yep.
before we went live there.
Right, right before you
Yeah,
opened the
right
door,
before we walked
gave her
up,
one of
Jane had a
those.
hidden mic on.
Yeah, good job.
That brings
We're
up an
talking
interesting
about
point.
engaging in sex acts.
Oh, did he bring that up for real,
No,
Jane?
he didn't.
No. Okay, good. Dr. Phil didn't cross the line, just Vinny.
Of course.
Excellent. Okay, keep going.
Side note about that, I did actually, with everything you try to do in life that is like something way beyond you've ever done, there's assumptions you make about what it's going to be like. And I definitely thought I was going to meet him before the show. Like, total assumption. I was just like, what am I going to say when we're like in the green room?
It makes sense.
You know? And I never met him. They put me in this green room at like 10 a.m. and I sat there alone for like 3 hours.
Do you
And
feel
then-
dirty? Do you feel cheap?
Did you get Doritos or anything? Were there
I
brownies?
danced
What was it like?
in my Spanx in front of the mirror just to like
Oh, they have
get
cameras.
it by.
You know they're watching
No,
you, of
they
course.
don't.
Did you get high?
No, I did not. I did not.
What?
You got to imagine they have cameras in there because if they.
I did not. I mean,
Yes, they're doing shows.
part of
with
the point
crazy
of what
people.
I was
They gotta-
making was
they're
that
getting
like
shit.
I can use cannabis every day just like I use coffee and not be addicted to it because I'm not. I can stop using it tomorrow and will feel no like withdrawal symptoms that aren't actually just like
You were
traits,
playing the role of the
personality
archetype.
traits, right?
Yeah.
So like, if he did ask me, "Are you high right now?"
That
Like,
druggy stuff, Vinny. That druggy stuff. That would have been
Yeah.
perfect.
You're a bunch of hoes.
I had to be like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm fine," and I would also speak this intelligently if I was high.
And then they were like, roll the film, and they'd be like, there she is in her
In the green room,
and she's in,
in
the
your
green room, and
Spanx.
she's dancing in her Spanx. Out, look at, she's pulling out
She's
a
got
pen.
the bong.
I totally would have.
You know
All
they
right,
would've
so
done that.
the other pro cannabis person is Aaron Smith, and for those
How many-
you should look him up. He's been around since the beginning. He runs the NCIA. I've met him. He is definitely believes in this industry.
He's on point.
Yeah, he's gone all in for
Yeah.
damn sure. Okay, so and who are the cons?
Well, segment 1, 2, and 3 are the parents of teenagers whose habits that involve cannabis
Oh goodness.
directly affect their lives. And the first couple lost their son. Like he committed suicide, and they believe it's because of like a psychotic episode due to cannabis. So that's what he is on first. I'm sitting in the green room watching this, but now I'm dressed because there's a producer there with me because the show started. And then the second episode is a set of parents who also have like video footage of their son acting pretty crazy. I mean, I've got sons. I'd say that's pretty bizarre behavior. And they also believe that it's because of their cannabis use. And I'm not denying their kids were using a lot of cannabis. So
Okay.
What was it, but what were they? Okay, what was their whole extreme use of cannabis as far as just like kids dabbing, kids what were they doing?
the first kid actually committed suicide.
Oh well, there you go. They went for the. That's a tough one to.
Oh, well,
kinda
it's
counter.
like
Yeah, of course you're gonna.
it was a huge component of his life. Cannabis was, so his parents feel that way. So
All right. Well,
That's horrible. Mm-hmm. It's horrible they
It
had to
is.
experience that loss, and we're not doctors. We have no idea how it interacted with him. His story
I
is
think that's why they chose me, because I also have children. But I'm
Right.
saying that this is something that's safe and should be introduced into our communities if possible. And even fighting for everyday Americans to be able to grow it in their own communities and sell it to their own community through retail stores that they manage, that aren't managed by out-of-state interests. So like
what state were they from? You know, were they all like in legal
one
state?
family was from Minnesota, but the son moved to Colorado. And then the second family, I don't know where they were from, but they moved to Colorado. So I think that had to do with why I was picked also.
Gotcha. So it was always like people who like, but they moved to Colorado strictly for cannabis, and that was their whole thing and reason
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
Okay. What, they were in the industry, or they were just here to smoke weed? Because you don't need to come move here to smoke weed.
No, people do, especially. Wait, that's
Well,
not
they
a
do.
true statement at all.
No, I'm saying you. Yeah, I know, but
There are people
controversy.
like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, no, true. Like there are people in
Dr. Phil, let's hear it.
hardcore prohibition states like Idaho, where they're gonna go to a different college and live in a different city in their 20s purely because if they get caught smoking pot in Idaho, they're in serious trouble.
For sure. Well, there is also that some people have a problem with anything, and
That was my
for anyone to take, it's kind of like the way a teacher would grade a test. You drop the high and the low score.
Yeah.
Right? You're focusing now on the low score, and the low score that only happened once in a long time. I mean, and not to invalidate him, that their loss was horrible, but what are we really talking about here? You know, they bring on 2 industry people. They didn't bring a medical doctor on. You know,
They
to
actually
talk.
did on the other side.
Oh.
There are a few doctors in the state of Colorado who have very strong feelings about legalization, and they did find one of them.
I think I know one of the
Don't
guys that he's on a lot of the
people on
shows.
their
Just one dude,
arrogance.
Yeah.
super, like, kind of religious dude though too, obviously, or no.
Either way, like, I believe that people are tuning in and listening to us talk about these things that they have questions about. And social media and these other platforms don't allow us to talk freely about all this stuff.
Oh, I know all about that.
Exactly. And so that's why, like, when there's actually a real conversation happening about it, people tune in because they're like, wait, I have questions too that have been unanswered, you know? And that's part of being on the cusp of something totally new. So, yeah, I mean,
What was the? So break us down on the show. So you said it was 2 parts or 3 parts?
there's 7 segments. And I come in segment 4 and stay for the rest.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I'm so glad I did it. I'm very glad.
This
But
is
it
aired
was
already, or
definitely scary.
This already aired or no? Mm-hmm. When does that? When was that?
Okay, so it's on
I put
a
the link.
shit ton. Yeah. It's on a bunch of cable news networks. Okay.
Cool.
But you do need. You could watch it instantly if you were willing to give your email address to the Merritt Street.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds safe.
That's
I
what we
know.
want.
I just did that
I
with
know.
Venmo. Felt
Guys,
the same
I know.
way.
He started his own network.
Oh, right.
And if you download the network
What is it
app,
called again?
Merritt
Okay.
Street. Yeah, I was there at their headquarters in Dallas.
And do they fly you out on their dime?
I'm so glad you asked this question. No. Okay, they do. And actually, honestly, if they weren't going to, I would have said no.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sign, a huge sign.
See, Adam. See what we do? We're idiots.
I know.
Yeah, we're chumps.
No, don't do that. Don't go anywhere unless you're gonna. Okay, so yes, that was covered. But I got like a random email when I was down a rabbit hole preparing for it because I only had a couple days, and I also had to decide I wasn't aware, which as a woman is hard to do. Oh, you put the new thingy in. You like?
Yeah,
this?
I'll take it
You
home.
really like
I mean,
this
it's the
one
bowl
with the
piece.
handle thingy. There you go.
Well, actually, I'm realizing I like this bong a little better than the big one. This one hits
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
So, like, the fluid capacity of this is about a cup. This chamber is 2/3 a cup. The whole thing full a cup for sure. And most big bongs are like 8 cups. I mean, it's such a difference. And if you actually want to take a super dense plume of smoke, the smaller the chamber, the better.
We're going to use super dense plume again. I'm sure Vinny will.
I got
isolate
super
that.
dense bloom over
There
here.
you go. Excellent. Thank you, Vinny. Well, that's loaded for you there. All you. All right, so
Did you see on the comments that my friends were like smoking out of your
leash on
piece?
your
That thing
wife.
was, I'm smoking out of a Jane
I
West
did.
piece
I
right
saw
now.
that.
cracky pipe.
I actually totally did. I think I
That
liked
was
it.
my guy out in Rhode Island.
I found one loaded that we loaded for the Rare Bloom event years ago.
Years.
Nope.
Still the same
I got one at the
American-made
floor of my
glass.
house.
All right, so you're on stage now. Now you're a segment, and they totally set you up. They railroaded you.
No, we skipped over the thing I was going to say because you asked. They flew me out.
That's right.
Yeah. So there was a moment, like I'm in the car on the way to the airport, and it's like I think maybe I have the right outfit and the right talking points and whatever, but I do definitely get like, just don't go. And then I had this moment where I was like, you know what? You don't have to go. Like, for some reason, I felt like I agreed to this. But I was like, you know what? You don't have to get on this airplane. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. And then on the drive out there, that turned into like, you know what? You can go all the way to actually sitting in the green room at his place and decide, I'm not doing this. And you can just not do it no matter what you signed. So that like gave me the sense of freedom. Right before I got to the airport, and again I said I like didn't bring anything with me. I didn't smoke that day or anything like that. So
you didn't even bring like an after the air joint.
No, I need.
To fill one of these.
No, there's no reason to make yourself
Did you present
the
like what Adam
story
said?
that the prohibitionists want, which is like she had this weed on her and she fucking did, like she couldn't even go at 2 days, you know.
You didn't even bring an empty bong for Dr. Phil?
I didn't. No, actually, okay. Thank you for asking, because this wasn't part of my notes. I did bring a ton of different products of mine, and there were certain members of his team that were so psyched that I brought all this different stuff, which was great. It made me feel, like everyone's doing their job 100%, but it made me feel validated.
Well, it's nice when you're like coming in as the cool kid. Like they're like, oh, cool. This is the one.
I like the way you describe that. That's exactly it. You're the cool kid right there.
Oh, okay.
They're used to train wrecks rolling through left and right. Like,
you're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm gonna kill you.
And
Give me
I didn't
$200.
walk in just being like, hey, do you want my stuff? It was instead like when they brought it up, like they would bring it. Because we're in Dallas, Texas, you know. Sure. And so they would bring it up. They'd be like, you know, my so-and-so really found relief through blah, 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 you know, and you'd be like, oh. Well.
Texas has got all the THCA shit going on, too. Did you see that when you were there? Did you see it?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's everywhere. Yeah. I mean, know what?
Really big.
The thing with that is that it's just there's no enforcement happening.
There isn't any enforcement because it's not illegal.
It's like a new, that's a whole nother topic. Okay, wait. I'm to the point. Ready.
We're
okay.
good at that. Look what we did.
We're going.
We can put anybody off.
And we're going to the airport, and I've just decided and realized, like, I don't even have to do this. Like, just driving to the airport in this car doesn't mean I'm doing this, right? And I get to the gate. I get to American Airlines, because I've never been on American Airlines as far as I know, but that's what they put me on.
Well, that's not the worst.
It's fine. Whatever. I didn't care.
It's a major carrier. Not anymore. Fuck that.
It's over.
Fuck them. We're getting divorced. 2 divorces in 1 month.
2 in a row.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, no, sorry about the,
I know. Divorce.
I get out of the car and they're like, oh, what's your name? Well, because I don't have like a American Airlines
Wait, they
number.
weren't holding a thing going Jane West right there? No, the sign?
No.
Oh,
at no point
bastards.
this is like that. I didn't even have a seat assigned to me, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I get out of the car. I go up to the gate. I've just come to this realization. And I'm like, I just give them my name. And they go, oh, Flight 420?
No way.
No.
I'm not fucking kidding you. I will fucking send you a picture of the god. And I go, excuse me? And now, for a split second in my head, in a weird panic state, I actually think like she's in on it and we're being filmed. Like, how the fuck is there a Sunday afternoon Flight 420 from Denver to Dallas and I'm on it? Like, what are you talking about?
Because they booked it for you. They were like looking around.
Was it nonstop?
It was nonstop.
Denver to Dallas?
Denver to Dallas, American Airlines, Sunday.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It was a sleep in. I had to sleep in. So it was probably around like noon.
Room number
Okay,
420.
but like that was it. That was it. It's the stupidest thing. I know we all talk about 420 and like it matters, but like that moment, from that moment when this random baggage checker said Flight 420, I was like, oh, you're good. You're going to be good. You should do this. You're good.
That's right. No, those are good signs. Those are good signs.
Flight 420 departs Denver at 2:37 and arrives Dallas Fort Worth at 5:34 p.m.
Couldn't be 7:10.
Fucking A.
Nail
Are
it.
you kidding me?
Wait, what?
You're fucking like I couldn't even. And then I called one person and told them about it, and they totally talked me off. They were like, "That's."
I'm trying to find if it was delayed at all in the last
No.
couple of weeks. Oh, 6:07. That was close.
So close. But yeah, that's your. That's always good. Those little signs are good signs. But so then you got to the spot and.
I got there. The
You
Hilton.
been to Dallas before? Or? I've never been to Dallas personally.
Only in like the cool parts, like downtown.
There is
Only
only
the cool
part.
part.
Where?
There are. Greenville Boulevard has a lot of like independently owned businesses. Yeah.
So what? They flew you right to the cool parts? You just landed in the cool
No,
parts? And you're like,
we
"Ah."
landed in
Oh, so-
Dallas, and then I stayed in like a random hotel that was part of like a mall, like one of those like Generica mall complexes. We were like, do you want to go to the Cheesecake Factory, or do you want to go to
TGI
BW3's?
Friday.
TGI
Yeah.
Fridays.
Oh, there's a smash burger now. It's trendy.
Try the Outback Steakhouse Bloomin' Onion.
Yeah, that's like vintage.
So they fly you in the night before. Now you're there. They paid for your flight. They pay for your hotel. You obviously
They didn't pay for my baggage, but I bought it, and then they did.
you obviously exited the green room when they said Ms. West.
Yep.
5 minutes.
Yep. Then the stage was divided into two giant sets of monochromatic Dallas women, and there's a walkway in between the two groups.
Hold on.
And
Monochromatic
it was just like
Dallas
all
women.
one
No one's wearing
type of person. It's what I scanned.
it. And you're feeling when you're walking out there, are you catching the we are a pro Canna vibe or I am fucked vibe?
No, it was more just, well, at that point, you're so nervous about walking. Maybe this was like a little bit of like the Biden walking or adults tripping thing, like tripping, like literally tripping.
Lights in your face.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, it's a tiny walkway between these two audiences of people that are like in below you. So
Well,
the second I was on the stage, I was only thinking
here.
about what I looked like on camera.
Wasn't it really similar to here? We have 200 people sitting here right now.
Yeah,
Pretty much
exactly.
Squeak down
Pretty
the
much
middle.
the same feeling.
Yeah.
Totally.
Everyone's wearing green.
But no,
Shoulders back.
it's that. Well, it is weird when you get that like classic when you like once you glance out and everybody's got the same
Yeah.
look at the same place. They're all looking at you too, right? Because you're coming out.
Yeah.
So you're like, ooh.
I'm not used to being on a live stage. So the ability to see
Huh?
people's
What?
faces. Well, we're talking live, but we're not seeing how bored we have no idea how bored
you're
everybody
breaking the
is.
fourth
Like
wall.
so many people have already turned this off.
Breaking the fourth wall. We
Hello.
pretend to have an audience.
And welcome to the Los Pollos
Guys.
Hermanos family.
That's exactly like our audience. They all turn off pretty much about
I know.
10 minutes in.
Okay.
So he played a clip where I said I thought about how cool the event would be, and then I got high and I was like, this would be fucking awesome.
That
It was
was
just
they
like
clipped you
They
like
they
set
played
you-
that in the show. They didn't show this in the show, but
Bad
they
edit.
did.
Bad edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to get everybody like this. Is
Well,
what
they
we
made a
do.
sound. They were like,
right.
like you could tell. they
All
were
right, I'm Dr. Phil. I'd like to
Yeah.
show you something to make you hate Mrs. West. Hang on a second now. Look
Hold
at
on.
her right there. Okay.
Loves that marijuana.
I did reach out to the gentleman, and I'll be honest, partially being on the show right now, there's a comedian that imitates Dr. Phil.
Yes, that's Adam Ray.
Yes.
Can we have him on?
No, we haven't had him on, but I'll definitely invite him
Okay,
when he's
good,
in town.
because he's
awesome.
playing. I'll go to where he's playing to be on the show.
Okay.
I'd love to replay what I wish had happened.
Oh,
Oh,
on the
that'd be a
Dr. Phil
great
show.
sweet. No, we have to
I
do
know.
that here.
So
with
like
him.
a bunch of people have just
gonna come
messaged
costume
me
here, it costs
since
some
it
money.
started going live. They were
just
like,
need his
you
voice.
should contact Adam Ray and be like, have me on your show and I'll be a
He's
guest,
but
but
he's
we'll
gonna
do
be doing
like
live.
if Dr. Phil got high.
Yeah. For sure.
It'd be so awesome.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
Well,
Because now,
we can
since
reach out
people
to
were
him.
messaging me, I've been watching him a lot.
We have one good. We have another guy who's been on the show too, who's like really well connected to Brian Monarch. So he'll
Oh, okay, yeah.
we'll reach out to him. And
Great.
then he'll reach out to Adam because Adam's super cool. He actually like.
Wait, we can't reach out. We just had reached out to Brian for an ask to get in touch with
Fine.
Whitney Cummings.
It didn't work out.
No, it's gonna work out, but we don't. I don't want to. You can't. We can't put in a second ask
No, but
right now.
but now we have
It's
a
okay,
backstory.
guys.
We have a backstory. She's
The
a-
backstory is
She
solid.
knows
is
the
solid.
real.
This
Dr.
person
Phil.
was on the show that you mimicked.
I don't think
as
we
a
need.
satirical spoof.
What I'm saying
and
is-
she'd love to replay the audience. She was like, "Is this
He's
how
actually really-
big of a bong you usually pull out?" And then like we do it together, and then
Don't
he
get
starts
me
to
wrong,
realize why
Jane.
weed is great during the episode.
I have
Like,
no.
and then at the end, he's like, "Wait a minute, am I saying that weed is great?"
no,
Like
I'm
it was so good.
I'm saying I don't think we need to ask Brian. I think we have enough cred already for me to just reach out to him
Okay,
and say,
everybody
hey,
out there who knows.
know?
And surprisingly,
Adam
he's-
Ray.
He's really, really responsive. Like I sent
Yeah.
him. I forwarded a video of this girl. What was that girl, Vinny?
That's packed for you, by
The
the way.
speedy ones from from around here. That
Too
was,
much?
I sent that one to Adam
I
Ray
just
that
feel
one
like
time,
that
and you're like, "Oh,
banana
that
mouth."
chick's local. She's but what was her?
That is
What's
so
her-
going to be
her-
played over and over and over and over again.
The banana.
He
No,
had
but
a-
it's like
his
mushy.
character, because he's a good character guy. His one that he did before was like tech guy. That was his old one. And so the tech guy was like,
6'4".
and he did that one for a
Finance.
while. Well, it was more like the bro tech guy, and he would do this. He had this filter that made him look like chiseled jaw kind of thing, and he crushed it every time. But he'd be like so speeded out, all Adderalled out, in his character,
Yeah.
not in real life.
Well, we're going to have Rick Bryan back on in a few weeks. He did the entire Kill Tony tour.
So good.
That's a great bong. I might have to take that one home and bring the other one in.
You know you're getting. Oh, this is great. What is this? What am I smoking? This is really
Oh,
good.
look, you just gave Adam a warm fuzzy.
That
This is so
um,
perfect. And
That is Petrol Station. Shout out
that
to the bro.
is fresh.
Shout out to the bro.
Zebro.
So we haven't even gotten to you on the Phil show
I know
yet.
you're still not even.
Oh,
still
but that was the
tangenting
best part.
everywhere.
The punchline is fucking Flight 420.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the end of it. Like everything
That's
that
it?
happened after
After
that
that?
is like anyone who
Then
would do
wait,
this.
let me
Like
tell-
any of us that would decide to go into that environment within 24 hours of knowing you're about to do it, it's hard to remember.
Jane, we're going to have you on for a total of 3 hours, and you went and blew your load right here at the beginning.
No,
with
you
the-
didn't even know what I
didn't
got in
save
the chamber.
420. You had to save that one for the end.
You
know?
we have a dog watching the show right now
We have a dog watching the show
in the living room. Yes,
in the living room.
loving us.
Are you shitting
Apparently
me?
loving the show.
No shit.
It loves you.
No
The
way.
dog loves you.
Dogs love me.
I know.
Dogs and kids.
Yeah.
I have some sounds. I have a hound.
Hey,
Do you have a
doggy.
dog?
Yes.
Okay, I have a dog too.
Yeah.
What kind
Oh, well,
of?
talk to the dog.
I have some sounds.
What's
Well,
the dog's name? What's the dog's name? We have to find
Oh,
out.
you're totally taking us
I'm
off.
gonna say his
again.
name in a super high pitched voice and get his attention.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to
But I
know the
don't know his
name.
name yet.
Oh,
Send us the name.
what's your dog's name, Jane?
I have a bloodhound named Clyde.
Love it.
He's such a momo.
That's a
He's
definite
such a
bloodhound.
momo.
Do you have a dog at home now?
That was his born name.
We have Frankie. Frankie.
Frankie?
Yeah.
It's so.
Frankie.
No,
Frankie.
Not Frankie though.
Oh, that's not
We
even the
have
dog.
Frankie. No,
I have-
we have a.
we,
one of our-
we're looking
one of
for
our
the
chat-
guest.
one of
I have
our chat.
Pauline.
It'll play that for Frankie.
We all have real people names for our dogs.
Real
They're,
people names.
they're not dog names. You know, it's not like Fido.
We had Freddie before that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are there more? Yeah. There are more human Clydes alive than dog Clydes right now.
Clyde's it's one of those dying off names.
Or an orangutan. I'm dating myself if anyone can tell me the movie.
Oh yeah. Every which way but loose.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't an orangutan. It was a chimpanzee. Was it?
There's
No,
a
it's a
big
orangutan.
difference.
Okay, yeah, an
The
orangutan.
length of hair on the arms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
I'm thinking that was
Orangutan.
BJ and the bear was the
Chimpanzee.
chimpanzee. And
More close to human genetics.
Now you're dating yourself. Super bad.
Yeah.
BJ and the bear.
Jane's too
Gingers
young
are
for that.
evolved from orangutans, I heard.
What?
From a teenager in my car.
You're right. He's right. Whoever that was.
And they're like going to school, so they must know.
And they were the smart ones on
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes, Dr. Zaius.
That made you feel good, right?
Totally.
You're like, all right, at least I'm that. At least I'm the smart.
No, you know what it is? You know what I'm pissed off about? Is every
They nailed
great
it with
role
those.
for a redhead happened after I wasn't a kid anymore. You know,
That's
would have
something
been.
you should definitely be focusing on.
I'm pissed off at that. I'm gonna
You
let it
missed your
just
mark there. 'Cause
by
think of all the movies you
25
could have been
years.
in. Think of all the
So many things.
sitcoms and movies.
I could have been in The Sandlot. Come on, I could have gone up for that.
Yes!
Role as a kid.
Yes!
In a heartbeat.
Yes.
But, you know,
for
I was
sure.
like 35, 40 when it came out, so it would have been a little
sure.
different.
Yeah, you're like,
You know.
can I do that? Karen?
Okay.
Or if they could AI me back.
I think on a past show, I talked about trivia and how it'd be fun if your people posted trivia questions to us.
Oh my God, we already have.
But like,
you,
okay,
you have
what
just hit
was the
the
name?
nail
I
on the
knew
We
the
can't
name
even
a
get
second
your
ago.
story out, and you want us to
I
ask
know, and
questions
I'm
to
done.
people.
Well, I mean, Flight
And you were
420 was
on-
the end of
we
it.
still
Like that
haven't
was the last. I had
No.
that was like a
No.
serotonin boost.
No.
What
that
did
got
Dr.
me
Phil
through the-
say?
I want to hear Dr.
He-
Phil in your own.
Yeah.
You doing his voice and everything. You got to do it
I'm
all.
not gonna do that.
You gotta do
I'm not
it
gonna
all.
do that.
You
But
can't
I
do
am
come
gonna.
on, Jane.
No.
Come on, Jane. Just
Come
do
on,
it.
Jane.
Do
No.
it. Do it.
I just
Roast
it
me,
was
Jane.
it was an experience, and
All right, so-
I truly hope that it was so
you were-
nerve wracking. I almost didn't do it multiple
I'm
times.
trying to create a virtual reality tool to help people have butt sex.
Did anybody in the audience, did you feel like you changed their opinion? At least one person?
Two people.
Then that's a win.
I know.
That's a win.
And you know what? This is what happened. There's 7 segments. The first 3 segments are all definitely prohibitionists who want you to think, differently about our ability to get concentrated cannabis. Because ultimately, that's what the show was about. The show was entitled "Is It Just Weed?" which I've learned over my years of being on major network news. Like, you have to ask about the
That was a
topic of the
flex.
subject. Because, like, our symphony event, you would have thought it'd be called like On a High Note or Classical Cannabis, all those things. Okay, the segment was called Pot Smoking Moms Unapologetic About Getting High. If you Google that exact pot
Mark.
smoking moms
Is
unapologetic
Mark
about
listening
getting
to the
high,
show?
you will
The
see
episode you were on?
the 8-minute Juju Chang Nightline segment about my symphony event at Red Rocks.
What?
That was actually the topic. So like, I've gotten very sensitive to knowing about what the topic is.
This show is
And
worldwide.
yeah, and so this show is
that's a
called "What
fucked up
About
one.
Weed? Is it just weed?" And his point was that like the things are so strong that they can affect people. And you know what? This is actually
That was an easy one. That's such an easy one to go in there and be like, oh, you know what harm reduction is, mister? That's what we're doing right here. It's like, hello. And he's
Have you
like,
had any
True.
alcoholics on here? Any families of alcoholics
I
who
do
have,
talk
and then
about
the
it.
families of the people they killed in their car?
I do
and then-
talk about that. And you know what? I actually gave his editors credit because I said a ton of those things I said were cut out. But I did say, even though we have alcoholics and we know that ruins people's lives through their addiction, we have high potency alcohol and low potency alcohol available across this country. And he kept that in the show, which I was glad about because like it helps everyday people realize that like concentrates is just whiskey and regular weed is just beer. And we're trying to talk about whether or not we should have access to this. So I was happy that he left that in.
They've done studies,
So you're not going to tell us about your interaction with him? You can
No,
make us
I mean
watch the
that's
show?
I never saw him before, which I did naively. I never stopped being naive. I guess.
How much actual airtime did they? Because you said they cut out a lot, but what did they end up getting?
I'm on the
giving you?
whole. I'm on all the remaining segments after the first 3.
Okay, so they accepted. So they were
Yeah.
pretty happy with your
Yeah.
performance. Obviously, you
it
weren't
was
like,
good.
get rid of her. She's ruining the show. She's taking up all the time. She keeps coming up with
She's
good
making
answers.
people turn over to Sally
Yeah.
Jesse Raphael.
So did you guys? So out of all the families and groups and stuff out of there, was there any kind of like actual help coming out of that thing, or was it all just pretty much like people were already on one side or the other side, or did you pull anybody over? Did you get anybody to go? Like,
He released the first 3 segments, which are all just mostly prohibitionists who are worried that what people have access to is dangerous, which is reasonable. That is reasonable. And we also know that when I don't necessarily think teenagers should be using this every day unless it's medically prescribed for them. And part of the reason I went on the show was to speak out for those teenagers. And Colton Turner and his mom, Wendy Turner, were in the audience, even though they cut. Cool. Yeah, right. Because I called her. I was like, I want to make sure I'm saying the right talking points for 2024 about this topic.
Yeah.
That made me more engaged in the cannabis community back in the day. Like when I met this mom, I'm like, wait, you don't smoke pot? She's like, no, but my son needs it to function. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me help you too. Like,
so they were in the audience and they didn't come on the show itself? Or?
No. Well, the thing is, I think maybe when they first interviewed me, they thought I would speak more to like my products and my company, which sells weed and all the, and I wasn't going to let that happen. Like every question you tried to direct towards business, I was like, that's not what matters. What matters is that we have access to this plant or can even grow it ourselves. So yeah, anyways.
That's been lost in the last 5 years.
Well, it's because the medical market has been decimated by the very people that cannabis consumers are funding. Like when you're spending money on a publicly traded cannabis company in their dispensary with flower they grew themselves, and it's like direct to consumer pricing, you're funding a market that doesn't allow everyday people to grow cannabis in their neighborhoods, sell it at retail stores in their neighborhoods, and grow it themselves in home grow, because we know those are the groups fighting against it. So
everyone, I mean, the biggest edibles company in the state of Colorado, I will not mention any names, all contributed to ending home grow here. They paid a ton of money and lost, thankfully.
And this goes back to like the first day I was ever in the cannabis sector, and I was at Julie Dooley's house, and she made Julie's natural granola in 2011.
I remember that.
And yeah, and she's like, here's all my weed. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in a giant room filled with weed. And she was growing it herself, right? And then harvested it, dried it and cured it properly, and then she'd extract it in a manner that's pretty close to what we do in a crock pot. Like that's the temperature level, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff she makes me feel so good and provides so many people relief. And I can literally do this. I can grow that plant and I can extract it myself and I can make something awesome out of it. And like that was the naive energy I poured into making women grow. I was like, oh my God, let's all start businesses. I met you, and you had you had hemp clothes. I was like, you can make clothes out of it. Like, look at this.
We're like
awesome.
20 years in. Oh,
yeah, no, I know. You're like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's like a little puppy. Like, it's cool. You're like, oh, they're gonna crush it, and they did. They totally crushed it. People don't even think they have something to fight for anymore.
Well, again, you get like. Cannabis products, of course, are now easier than ever for people to get access to, and of course, that's where it's kind of the age-old thing. Back in the day, we'd get caught with a little bit of weed or whatever, but parents didn't know what to do. Now it's like an advertisement in their face where it's like THC. It says right on the package what it is, so it's not hard to figure out what's going on, and so it's that. Plus, it's like I couldn't imagine schools now and like. Compared to because we'd have to go in the woods behind the school to smoke weed.
But
now
Adam, they're using less.
I mean, it's like all you gotta do. I can see kids already like sitting there in class.
But having a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old, I can tell you that they don't see the allure of it.
Yeah.
They know it's there. They know it's available. Some do, some don't. Some have problems. Teenagers, some don't. But it is. Drug use overall has gone
multi-substance use
with teenagers right now. The danger is, the fentanyl issue.
Pills and powders.
I watched Pawn Stars the other day, and somebody went, "Oh, did you hear what happened?" I'm like, "What?" And they're like, he has a 39-year-old son, like Corey, and he has another brother. He had fentanyl, died.
On that Pawn Star show?
He was never on the show. Okay. He was just one of Rick Harrison's kids.
Yeah.
But it's epidemic.
I think a lot of this has to do with like how much we've vilified using powders, and like totally underplayed how many people in this country use cocaine and snort stuff, because that is like still like frying the egg.
We have a friend who lives, in a different.
But you have to speak honestly about what's out there, like. People just need information.
The information is cocaine, you need to be 20 years older than you were and go back in time.
I totally agree.
That was it. You had
Yeah.
your time to do that drug. Right now, it's too dangerous. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Tell us one interaction.
Come on, tell us.
You
I wanna
had
hear
with
the shine
Dr.
on his
Phil.
head.
Oh my God!
Shine
I'll tell you all.
Yeah,
Does it
let's
feel
hear
like
it.
I'm holding back? Okay.
Yes.
So so I did so. In the lead up to the show, I contacted 2 different individuals who were on the Dr. Phil show back in the day who are on our side. One is Neil Franklin, who is the head of LEAP, and the other was like a policy analyst for Marijuana Policy Project. And so they were on the show and like interacting, like I called them, they answered. I was like, hey, Dr. Phil reached out. And like their
Open
advice.
the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
And,
Oh my
and
God.
wait, just to be clarified, in Dr. Phil's defense, he did apologize for saying that to you after he said that,
He
right?
did. He did.
Okay, good.
He
That was
did.
him getting you out of
He
the
did.
hotel
only,
room
but
or
only
what?
after he was high. Only after he was high. Yeah. Exactly.
You could have just called the front desk. You didn't have to like throw rocks at her window.
No, he knew what room I was in. It was the Hilton.
Was it
Open
room
the door.
422?
or
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's why I was only on the second
throw
floor because
rocks
that's only
through
as
your
high as he could get
windows.
with the rock. So it was just like that's why I was on the low. He knew he could hit it. Maybe. I think his assistant did it.
Okay, so come on.
That sounded really creepy.
I remember I couldn't go to sleep that night. I had to like. I never take prescription medications, but that night I did have to take like a sleeping pill,
God.
like because I was so.
Cannabis
I mean,
pushed
I'm
you to
sitting
prescription
here
pills.
in Dallas,
Disgusting. I'm
about to be on the show at like
And
7
no
in the
weed?
morning.
Did you
yeah.
tell Dr. Phil that he caused you to have a drug problem?
No,
Like,
no, but I did
Dr.
say.
Phil caused my opioid addiction. Yeah, that's it.
I don't think it was an
Yeah.
opioid.
Dr. Manuel,
did-
the people on there are creepy cunts.
That's a virtual
What
Dr.
is
Phil?
that one?
Is that a virtual
talking
Dr. Phil?
about-
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
It did not
Yeah,
sound.
that was bad.
Well, we need Adam Ray. I actually, I'll be honest, wasn't really familiar with him until after I was on the show. And
So
now, like, so many people in
Oh, yeah.
cannabis have been like, you and Adam Ray have to, like, get high together as if,
Reenactment.
and reenact
we'll
the show.
we'll try to make this happen. So wait,
I already
Yeah.
got it. I'll hit him up. I'll say we need to do a reenactment, and then he'll be like, "Oh,
Oh, my
And he'll be
God.
like, we're doing this.
Even I like that idea.
Like, we're doing this.
so you reached out to 3 people who had done the show
I did,
before.
and they made me feel more confident. But they both also said he's going to cut a shit ton of what you're saying, so keep saying the same thing.
Got it.
Because he's going to keep asking the same question, but making it more complex, so that maybe you say,
You slip up.
yeah, but just keep saying the thing until he's like, okay, fine, new topic. So what about being the mom and can't you'll and so like, well, that's how I processed their advice. I'm not saying they literally said what I just said, but I was like, okay, just stick to your talking points and keep saying them over and over again, and then that's all he'll have to put on the show, right?
And did at any time during the talk did you let him know that you're going to seek damages for him referring to you as a whore?
No, I didn't. Well, because Dr. Phil, just like all other major news networks, makes you sign away, and there's entire sections that say, we will humiliate you. It literally says, if anything humiliating occurs while filming, we will absolutely show the entire world
It's
that
called
this happened.
Television Gold.
Yeah. And the most recent thing I signed with MSNBC said, in all existing forms of media and future forms of media not yet governed.
Created.
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I
to the
guess
end of
that's
time.
everything.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
The end of time.
Yeah, which also could include porn. I mean, you don't even know what you're signing away
Porn.
anymore
All the porn
to
that
these
you
media
made, or the
companies.
porn that you
Well,
haven't made
we
yet.
we
all the porn you
speaking of
haven't even
porn,
made.
All future.
Signed off.
we have it on good authority that Dr. Phil kind of was inappropriate with you. No truth to that?
No,
Oh, darn.
it was fine.
Darn.
No.
All right,
no,
so
we gotta be real.
Tell us about one interaction. What did he say to you, and how did you respond?
Oh, I can tell you one thing that I haven't really said to anyone, because a bunch of it wasn't aired. So being a female and being on these shows, you want to, I've been doing this for a decade, but for the first 5 years, I'd be so focused on what I was about to say that when I was answering, I looked angry. So I'd be like, but you know, da-da-da. But then you learn over time that screenshots of that make you look terrible. And so no matter what, you should always have like your cheekbone facing the light and be like, no matter what I say, even if I hate you, I should look, because appearance is 85% of what someone's hearing coming out of your mouth, right? You're like, okay, it's gonna be fine. So that was important to me, that I kept this posture, and no matter what I was saying it confidently, but also like not angrily. And right before we went to the very first commercial break, he turned to me and he said, "You're just so smug." And then we went into this commercial break, and it was such
No shit.
Yeah, and it was like, to me,
That's a jab.
okay, so like I just said, like about an hour out, you don't remember. It's like going like skydiving or something. Like you don't really remember. Like I was like, did he just? Because that was like name calling, and before we were in this other category.
Yeah.
But he didn't get me, because now the other woman is coming out. So now I was like kind of mad enough to be like name calling, but I hadn't practiced that. I practiced on my talking points being rational.
He knows how he's playing you.
No, well, he totally knows. I know. And
like,
even
"Come on,
even
step."
his producer was absolutely like,
poking your
oh,
wrist.
this woman, she's really riled up. You're gonna have to like match her energy. And I was like, okay. But like now, like looking back, like I'm glad. Okay, so here's how I know he got to me. I kept my plan during the show. But for like, and my kids will attest to this, for like 3 or 4 days after, I would just start yelling in the middle of our living room. I'd be like, but you're da-da-da. Like, because I hadn't planned on being nasty. I hadn't planned on like saying a jab. So then being jabbed and not being able to be like, do you even know what the word toxic means? You are not a doctor. Or saying like,
Well,
are you a doctor?
You're
Phil McGraw? Like, or whatever. Like, you I didn't plan on being terrible.
You're 30 minutes on stage, having thought you were going to meet the man beforehand,
Yeah, I did
having
actually
not
think that.
meet
That was
him.
so but
that's
now
in your
I've learned
head.
that's
And he pokes you
naive.
with a stick.
And then he comes out and he is Mr. Hand.
Yeah.
You know, you dick.
Yeah, he had a binder in his lap.
Oh, sure, he was a dick.
No, I know. It's okay. I knew it wasn't gonna be
What-
like.
I know you want to say
well
it.
done.
Would he have said that to a man?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to even go there. That has nothing to do with it.
I'm sure-
I am
I'm
actually
sure-
glad that he brought my counterpart out to be a woman, because she was also a mother and a wife, and both her son and husband had turned to cannabis. I wonder why. And so
Oh, you could
you
use that
like,
at least.
Zing.
so
Bing.
you're like, at least I'm actually glad that if he was going to own my identity as like a mom and a woman in cannabis, that the counterpoint he put out there for me was the same.
Right.
I really actually do appreciate that. And yeah, she's just like, didn't even have quality information. And so I won't speak to that, because speaking to like
Well, they're coming-
disinformation is not okay.
Yeah.
What was her point?
Toxic. She says multiple times. Well, she kept saying I was interrupting her, but I was just like, okay, you've been talking for long enough that like we're in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Like you need to figure out how your answer is 2 sentences and you're done.
Right.
So she felt like I was talking over her, but I was actually like, okay, this is a show and we need to switch.
It's
you know?
called a panel discussion,
yeah.
like tennis.
I also did think, I'm glad you brought that up too. I thought we'd be in a panel, like we are, and instead he's in the middle, and when they go to change the segment, now she and I are like, we're so close to each other. Her spit landed on my knee multiple times while telling me cannabis was toxic, and I could see it on my pant leg of my like Ann Taylor pants that I just bought.
Send her the
at the
bill.
mall.
Send her the cleaning bill.
No, well, I'm just saying that's how close we were.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so then it happened. And then it was over. And then they whisk you away.
And then you did that thing
Appropriately. Like, these are families and individuals who have suffered great losses and we shouldn't be around each other. I should be left.
It's
I
not
should
the
leave
Morton
the building.
Downey Jr. show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jerry Springer.
Morton Downey Jr. That was the one. Remember that one? Yeah, Morton Downey. That was like the low rent version of Jerry Springer.
It was before Jerry Springer. It gave him his, like, holy shit, you don't have to actually be nice.
Right.
You know? Morton Downey Jr., he created his character. He wasn't kind of like that.
Yeah.
He kind of was, but
Yeah.
he just went.
He was born from Ebdevevix.
Flying spit.
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
A lot of flying spit. Speaking of
He-
flying
yeah.
spit, Morton Downey Jr. No, that's
He was that tape. That was when people were. I had a cassette tape of people calling people and hanging up the phone.
so when you
What
said
was that
multiple
called?
segments, was it multiple days and you had to do it, or
No,
just
no,
the
no,
one
no,
day?
no. It's just
kind
you're
of-
there.
Gotcha.
You have a call time. The makeup people were very nice. They made me feel like very good, and I think they did a good job. Which I sometimes wonder if they like do a better job of the people they
It's
want.
funny,
to
like
look
we
at.
had Danny, I think Danny Danko was on CNN one time, right? That was a good one. Occasionally we get these like killer spots where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
nice. Bean and Stock, I think, was on some pretty high level
Yeah.
show back in the day.
So
They have a picture of me on MSNBC back in 1991.
In your suit?
No. I was wearing 91. 91.
Yeah.
How old are you in 91? 2?
Fuck you. I was in high school.
Come on.
Bitch.
In
I
ni-
just turned 48 last week.
In 91, Grateful Dead played Madison Square Garden, and I was selling Cat in the Hat hats that had Steal Your Face logos on the top of them.
Yeah, and you couldn't buy those on Amazon then. So you thought that was it.
There
This
was
is
no-
your only chance to buy that hat.
My buddy gave them to me for $10. I sold them for 20 and 30. I couldn't keep them in my hands. It was that, and I'm walking down the street, didn't think anything of it,
Yeah.
selling my hats, and when I check this is interesting. You guys, we had machines. We used to call and get our voicemail. That was
Yes.
left, right. It was on a tape.
Yes.
So I called my tape.
Star,
Yes.
just star,
Yes.
something.
It
Yeah.
was 6 of my
yeah.
relatives going, David, we just saw you on MSNBC Financial News Network or whatever it was. They were doing a story on this Grateful Dead being a profitable band, the only touring band, and the camera zoomed in on you. Aunt Cynthia said she saw you. If that was you, call me back.
At the show, not selling at the lot.
She
That's
thought
like
I
a
was at
personal
school.
news network.
I drove to New York and didn't tell them. I could have gone to Flushing. It's 30 minutes away, but I didn't tell them I ditched school and I'm here for the shows.
The individual who witnessed that had no way of recording it, rewinding it, capturing it. Like literally they just saw it and then they were like, I think I just saw something crazy. So
Oh, no,
I'm
they
gonna
went
call
straight up.
the
That's
people I
David.
know. Yeah. That's a serious news network.
Yeah. A financial
where
news
my
network.
It shows you how that's back
60
when,
minutes.
That's back
Yeah.
when there was like one little camera that got you.
It was way telephoto. Must have been in their offices, on 34th Street,
Yeah.
wherever it was, and just going straight down or the avenue. And that was it.
It actually probably went in reverse.
It was far. I didn't see any cameras out there.
Man, you got busted.
Yeah, that was something. Yeah. But it felt good, though.
Hey, I know we have
Jane, you're not going to cash that bull
We have
bong
Franklin
so we
and
can...
I will.
Frank's
I will.
here.
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
we
terrible.
have him, and James Bean is somewhere making questions because he got all.
Wait, I have
He's
you.
AI question.
He's talking to AI right now. Trying to
AI, I am having Skunk Works genetics on. What should I tell them? Make me seem funny
Skunk
and
really,
good looking.
I need Skunk Really Works questions now. Exactly. Welcome to the show.
Ditto.
Oh, that's done. Welcome. We'll see if James were here. He would, because he loves to
He
do
likes
this.
to do the big intro,
You know.
to make it all sound exciting. But we do know that you are one of the new fresh faces on the site.
Yeah, I am. It was an honor to be on here. I was a customer turned to breeder, so
Oh, nice.
I've been using seeds here now for a long time.
So you're living the dream now. Started as a customer, now I'm in the.
Well, for a second, I thought he said he bought your seeds and he was a customer, and
That's
that's,
what
his
I thought,
start,
too.
right?
Could have.
Because
I
that
don't
would
know.
be cool.
I don't know. It's
What,
possible.
what was the pack you bought?
Go with it.
I've heard all about your seeds, Adam Dunn. It's a great honor to be here. So I read about you, and you've created some legendary things.
Well, thanks.
So that's kind of what I'm working on. Is just the old school building block strains.
Yeah, I was checking out your site, or is it a site, or it was maybe on James's, but Skunk #1 being sort of like your main focus on that was a male that you picked out of that stuff? Is that what that was, or is that just something in the start?
Obviously, I'd love to have the clone of that. That's hard to track down, but I picked through a pack of CSI Humboldt seeds, and they had a pack of UK cheese, which is just a phenotype of skunk number one, and I picked out a pretty skunky pheno, and so I started running with that.
Gotcha.
And as I started getting feedback from people, they said, well, that is pretty skunky. And so I've just been getting a lot of good feedback. It's a healthy, robust plant.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably easier to find in the well of cheese, a skunky sort of one than you will with the actual skunk number. Skunk number one, it's not the great, it's notoriously sweet, and it's a very good yielder, and it's got some great structure, and it's got a lot of good points to it, but it notoriously was never the skunky one, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like
Sure.
and I have a Mendo cheese that I'm running now, which is kind of like the same thing. It's got a lot more funk to it, and yeah, it's funny because the reason we even know that is that is like skunk number one was mostly from like Rob Clark and those guys in the beginning. Like that was like their reject, you know what I mean? They didn't like it, and the guys in England ran with it, and from those like did more inbreeding with it, and from that is where they found, you know, the cheese that Big Buddha worked with and all that kind of stuff. So it's, and I remember Rob telling me that in '95, like, oh, that's just one of those, and I was like, really? Huh, interesting, because I never smoked it before.
Did the people in England who did that, was that all indoor because of the legalization, or was any of it had to do with like because I think England grows this unique, none of it was outdoor. Is that true? I don't,
pretty
no.
much mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all Exodus Cheese is the original sort of crew that did that, and those guys were all indoor. And England is one of those places that it's like
you can control it.
It's a perfect place to do testing because people there, they consume a ton of weed, and they're hard-headed, and they're fucking like nothing. You know, you can give them 20 different things, and they'll be like nah. And if they like it, you're like, oh shit, they like it. Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And then it has to cut through everything. It's really interesting. It's a good
Chat asks,
good market.
has the cheese cut actually been tested to show it's a skunk number one, or is it just anecdotal? Because
it's
right
more
now-
anecdotal at this point. I don't think there's a genetic test to say like this is the thing. Is there wasn't very much out there in those time periods because it was
Definitely
like
think of UK cheese.
No. Let's just call Phylos and ask him.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Send him a note.
James,
Adam.
call Phylos.
I can check my email.
Wait, can we hang on a second here? Did you just see the golden fucking bong that Jane
I
pulled
wanna
out
call
of her
it-
purse?
I want to call it
Wow.
C3PO,
That's
but I
fancy.
can't legally call it that.
Probably shouldn't do that. That will get you in a lot of trouble.
How about
C.
Jane
Bongio.
3PO?
Yeah.
Oh, Jane 3PO.
J3PO.
J3PO.
Here's the thing, like
No, can't
ultimately
even
when
be
it
close.
comes to IP, if it could be easily confused, you're never gonna win.
Right.
So if our idea is so good that everyone will know exactly what we mean, then
It's
not gonna work.
It's very nice. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
Oh, thank you.
So, so the back of CSI, what year was
Yeah.
that when you started with that first selection?
Yeah, now we're done with your fucking pretty bong. Jesus, I tell you what.
Oh, hold on a second there, James.
know you
Nailed the
want
fuck
it.
out of us,
Oh,
Dave.
it's gold.
Jesus.
I brought it
Hold on.
because it's gold, and you're the gold standard of genetics. And
Good
so
save, James. Good
this
save, James.
was the
Brought it
for you.
gold
It's a tie-in,
bong,
James. Wow.
only to be used to speak to James Bean, the CEO of the gold standard of genetics.
And do you want to just say thank you, Dave, for sending me a fucking text to let you know that the guest that I booked on the show is actually here? You're welcome,
here.
James. Nice shirt you're wearing, buddy.
I am talking too much. Though.
Yeah, it would just take you fucking 6 hours to get that one out you're wearing.
Wow, you guys huffy.
Wow.
What a huffy crew.
Oh,
out here.
that Dave is shit.
What's on the hat, James?
It's a skunk, isn't it? Looks like
I
a skunk
can't-
fuck
I'm-
with the bat.
We're doing skunk. We're
I'm
going
bald,
skunk theme today.
blind
We're
and
skunk
bald.
theming it.
Yeah. Oh, so it's a skunk with using his tail as a bat. Spree rat. I like it.
So before you joined us, your boy here was really singing your praises.
He said,
I know. I've been here for a minute. I know.
Yeah, but he was on for several minutes beforehand by himself.
No, I was in the background, Dave. You
Find out
can't see
everything
me.
we
Who's
need.
here?
No, I'm gonna go bullshit on that one, but that's okay. You keep thinking that and make you feel better.
Hostile Dave, they call him.
That's what they call me.
Anyhow, so Franklin,
Yep.
Let's talk about your skunks. You guys were talking about skunk, right? Skunk and cheese?
Yeah.
We're talking about the cheese first.
UK cheese. Yep.
But I'd like to know, that's an interesting question. If one were going to start testing for relationships in genetics right now, how do you start that? And wouldn't James be one of the best sources of genetics for something
If
like
you
that?
had a lot of money, you could probably get down to some nitty gritty, but for the most part, you're better off by having a provenance that's been completely, it's going to be verbal at this point, and it's going to be you have to trust your breeder. That's where we're at. You can't.
And Philos had the sequence. Like they got it. They just fucked up and didn't get the long code. They had the short code. That's why they couldn't sell it to Scots.
Yeah.
But they have there's a sequencing, and that's why the whole galaxy thing was very for besides being a bunch of lying bastards, their galaxy was cool. You could look at things and everything that was supposed to group together kind of grouped together, and it was you could say okay, these are obviously related to kind of that. And the weird thing that always stuck out for me was that all the purples were like Pluto in the galaxy. They were way the fuck over here, and they're all kind of by themselves, but they're way over there. I was like, I wonder why. Is that I always related that to having the purples being more medical, more medicinal strains. But all the hazes kind of grouped together.
Did you say medinical? Did you say medinical?
But medicinal, I do think that
I said
about purple. I do think that about the color purple. Absolutely.
For sure.
From day one.
And so to see that on the galaxy was kind of cool because everything grouped, and so there was something behind it. So, but as far as I think they've got to be able to tell that they were of the same lineage or very close to. But then it comes down to who has the real cut of the cheese.
Well, yeah, you have to think about what always is the starting point, and that's the thing. You still have to trust that the person who puts that on the galaxy is actually putting in what it is, because there's skunk number one was probably the most sold seed ever in the history of cannabis, just because it was every company had their version of it, and how many people have gotten a pack of seeds and grew it out, told that guy takes it as word.
Yeah.
Now that's skunk number one, but it's not. It's some fucking citral skunk or something, whatever.
And it's so many years and so many crops.
Yeah. So that's happened in,
I got it. We create a council, a Jedi council, and we all meet together.
How about we all
and
just
you all
fight
agree.
for home grow?
That never happens.
Yeah. Let's just all fight for home grow, and then we'll have way more experts on our side.
We've tried that too, but I mean, again, we're not too far down that rabbit hole. There is definitely some people who are holding real things, and you can start with that point, and that's for the most part. And also, it really comes down to things that have to work too, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's got the name attached to it, but it isn't what it doesn't even come close to what the standard that we need it to be at. So
James, you
good
being
selection is important, right?
You being that sort of that nexus point of 70 different breeders right now, would you say that there is a scientific company out there that is doing anything to sort of begin the process of a serious map again, since Philos screwed the proverbial pooch and came on the show and Adam fucked them?
But they're back.
There's all kinds. Like Israel is light years ahead of us. They already have it done. They know everything. I mean, Israel has been at the forefront for years. But it all comes back to sure, fucking Berner said he made cookies, right? Fucking he didn't make cookies, and how it's all what you put in is gonna know who really says they have the true version kind of this, and this came from the guy who says that that's the true version. It's just his word, and you hope it's true, and so it's all about the input of what your initially starting point is, and that's going to be unless those seeds came from Sam, or Sam wants to put some fucking seeds in Dave Watson. So I mean,
nowadays it's easier to take those notes and stuff, but back in the day it was it had to be in your head, because you're not gonna hey, I'm gonna write down every fucking plant that I grew and have it in a little book. And so when they come in and get me, they go, oh, look at these 35,000 plants you wrote down in these books, and you're like, oh, those are just notes of made up notes. I just made those up. It's nope, we're charging you for all that. So you in your mind always had that. Nowadays, data is king, as we already know. All the companies that make all the money, it's all off of data, and we're huh?
I really wish each one of these, because when I traveled to Prague and areas in Europe talking about cannabis, I learned how much it had to do with seeds and phenotype and these different things that the American consumer didn't give a shit about. They barely care about terpenes, right?
They do now.
Right, kind of. And it depends on who controls the market. So the point is, I do think it's so interesting to bridge that gap because that makes it more accessible when you're talking about seeds and phenotype, and this is exactly what you're growing.
But it's always it's so fucking hard with cannabis because we're working with like a fluid living thing, right? So it's
which
like
we want people to talk about.
So
the
like,
best thing we can do is talk more about it.
So Franklin's in Michigan, right? It's all fucking humid and different. We're up here in Colorado. It's dry as fuck.
Michigan's great.
Same plant, totally different environment. You know what I mean? No matter what. So he's working hard to get the humidity out of the room, and we're working hard to add humidity into our drying rooms. We're like, fuck, I need humidity in the dry room.
This is
and
what
it's
I
like
love.
It's completely opposite sort of vibes.
This is what I love about the state-based, like, evolution of cannabis is that like there are people in each state that if you're really growing home grow or like using these seeds and using these phenotypes they want to have develop into what they want to actually smoke, you need to know how to do that where you live. Like if you send it to California or Denver or Michigan or Maine, it's so different, or indoor. So like these conversations are so interesting.
That's why it's hard to put your finger on a lot of things where you say it's going to do this.
Yeah.
You kind of have to know when it hits your spot. So let's go back to Franklin and his grow because he's our guest at the moment.
And when did you? Because I'm sure there's a record, right, of when you bought your first pack. When was that? I'm curious.
I bought it from one of the seed banks in the UK, probably back in 2010, maybe. And at that point in time, they would ship it in an item, and you'd have to pay insurance on the seeds just in case they got grabbed.
Attitude or something like that, maybe? Or arrogance or attitude or...
Yeah, it was Attitude Seed Bank.
Gotcha.
But then that's where Seeds Here Now came in, and it was like the holy grail. Just because it was like, oh, wow, I can get seeds right here in the U.S.
Now, at this moment, right here.
And they never really understood insurance. Like, you're paying me an extra $25 to make sure that I deliver your box.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a weird one. Well, they pay
what
extra.
What the fuck is that about? Like, I don't understand this whole insurance shit. Like, if it doesn't get there, then I just, I'm going to send it to you again for free. How about I just lie and tell you didn't send it in the first place? Oh, sure, I sent it, right? Like, how many guys say that shit? So I never got insurance.
We understand, James. You've revolutionized the delivery of seed business. You are the first to figure it out. Your methodology is fantastic, and your customer service is second to none.
And your shirt is amazing.
I love your shirt. I was looking for a BBVA shirt, too, from whatever team that is. But anyway, back to our guest. So that's only 14 years. That's fantastic. Good for you. I mean, I always thought by the time, the way Adam describes it, you need to be a gray-haired man by the time you've ever done anything to be able to release. So good
I
for
grew
you.
my first plant in about 2006, right after, it was probably right after high school or before I ended high school, I started growing. And it was kind of funny when I went off to college. I first started growing a plant off my dad's roof. And then I went off to college a couple months later, and it was, a tiny little seedling at that point, not growing very well. Then I converted my dresser into actually a grow chamber. So I kind of made it into a guerrilla grow chamber where you couldn't see what was in it. And that's where I kind of started in Toledo, Ohio. So then here I am. I've just always had a natural knack for science and plants. I won a science fair project as a kid in high school or in middle school, and it was for growing plants as well. And so we always had a family garden as a kid.
They already knew where you were off to.
Oh, yeah.
And most likely to end up in the cannabis industry.
Oh, I know all about that.
So that's how I got started. And then, so my journey took me through as a caregiver in Michigan and trying to weed through that market. I started as a caregiver in 2014 or so. I just started doing that full time. That was an interesting business. You never really made very much. Most of your money went to the power business and the nutrients, which was fine. But it was a living. And then I started collecting seeds in about 2016. So at that point in time, I just started planting my own seeds I would collect.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I read.
And did you grow everything inside at all times? I'm from Wisconsin, so right across the water.
Yeah.
And we also, I also had a drouch. That's what we called it. It was a couch, but then inside of it was the dresser that we grew the stuff in. So when you sat down, it was really hard.
A drouch?
There's a dresser inside a couch.
Okay.
But no, I totally identify with turning a dresser into exactly what he made it.
That's a mic. That's like
actually a better use because you can hang your t-shirts.
Micro grow there.
Yeah.
Old fridges and stuff. Seems like
Yeah.
a couple
No,
of those.
so smart. OG.
And so your dad obviously was cool because you said you grew a plant on your dad's spot on the roof. Or was it hiding it on the roof of your dad's house?
He's gotten hiding it. My dad's gotten a lot cooler over the years, and as we understood it, it became legal. A lot of the stigma went away. So, my dad's a very good man and very straightforward. He doesn't drink or anything. So, it was kind of hard for him to see his son get into cannabis, but I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe in what it is and the potential of it. So.
Now,
that's all that really mattered.
I saw on your site you had something like you lost your mom, I think, at some point in like 2010 or something like that. Was that or 2015 or what was it?
2001 actually, when I was 13. So that kind of led me on a journey I'll talk about for a couple seconds.
Please.
I started off in Michigan at 13. Mom passed away from cancer, and all I remember from that point in time is going to Walmart and her having to fill a $500 prescription. That kind of just always stuck out to me. That was a lot of money back then. So moving forward, then I moved to Minnesota for a while, which is where I'm from. And then I moved back to Michigan. But I've also lived in Wisconsin, Janesville, Wisconsin. I'm familiar with there. So I've been all around.
I was born and raised in Milwaukee. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
But back to mom, she was a good lady, and she always believed in holistic medicine. And unfortunately, you just can't rely on that with aggressive cancer sometimes. Holistic medicine is for maintenance purposes, I think, is just keeping your health intact. And so back to my seeds a little bit that's my theology on everything is holistic, good nutrients, good inputs. And so all of my seeds are actually all vegan. And so that's one of the things I'm really interested in is vegan inputs. Kyle Cushman has a line, and I'm using the BioThrive line from General Hydroponics. It's really good, I think. Provides some stellar results. I also thought it was interesting how Snoop Dogg, they had a segment on where he was, or I think it was 2 Chainz actually, and Sarah Fisherman. She was talking about the $1,000 ounce of vegan weed, and
that was with Kyle. I saw that one. Sarah Silverman, actually.
Yeah, so that's my seed line. Is it's all vegan. I'm using Down to Earth, just the blend you would blend in the soil in BioThrive, and then I'm using a couple other things like Chitosan, which is a good spray. Just to make the seeds respond to the environment and some stresses against bugs and various protections.
Yeah.
So,
I found it's so great to hear people actually so close to the plant they're growing that we all want to consume. And I see that so much in Michigan and places like Maine was like that also.
Well, they got good soil in Michigan because they're like at the bottom end of the Great Lakes there. So you've got all that kind of, just naturally, just as far as if you looked at America, you're like, that's where all the fucking nits are at.
But every crop is different, and to have someone that dialed in.
Yeah, I think for sure.
So great.
Also a soil. Was there a soil? You guys were working with some soil company or something like that? I saw, or some. Was that a? Because on your website there was like a link to a partner.
At one point in time, like I said, in this business, you got to keep reinventing yourself until something sticks, or until the market shifts.
Yeah.
I had how I got into seeds is that I had a earthworm casting company before this called Jim's Earthworm Casting.
Gotcha.
So I launched a full nutrient company and branded everything, and I was buying some stuff from kelpforless.com and repackaging it under my own brand. But a lot of the grow stores in Michigan have actually shut down.
Yeah.
So right after the pandemic, we saw a peak in indoor growing, home growing like we were talking about, and then it kind of disappeared once the grow store, the dispensaries came around. The quality of the bud is not very good, but what it is the cost of power is too high for everyone. They don't want to invest the money into it, so a lot of people gave up. But one thing leads to the next, and then so a nutrient company led me to exclusively selling just earthworm castings because that's the only thing that sold. There was a gap on the store in the in that category at the grocery store, and then that was a hard business. It really was. You got a lot of overhead in that. So then that leads me to seeds. That you don't have a lot of overhead in seeds for the most part compared to most people. You've got a high return on your investment.
Let's not give away all the secrets now.
Yeah, margin.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, the hardest part, no, really, the hardest part is the time. It's the time, and it's and it's the testing.
That's what I was going to say too.
It takes. It's just like at the end of the day, you're like, wow, I could have done a lot more in that time period if I was not doing what I'm doing. But so it's like space and time is really what you're paying for at the end.
And essentially, you're buying somebody's homework when it comes down to seeds. Like a lot of my guys, they will just. As they work the line doesn't mean each step along the line is viable, right? Like sometimes you work the line and you don't want those out in the market. They weren't all stable, and so you're gonna, sometimes you go a certain route and it didn't end up the way you thought it was. You got to trash the whole line. I mean, there's no reason to keep them around, and so there's a lot. There's a lot of guys doing that as well. So it's not as cheap as people think it is.
Yeah,
no, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to make it like that, but
James.
Compared to, when you're working in something else that you're feeling it, like every time you're like, this is costing me money just to make, just to barely hold on. But with the earthworm castings, you still have your own bins and stuff and doing it yourself, or?
I was buying it from a couple other companies. I started buying it from a fish worm, a waste business. They had fishing worms. Mm-hmm. So I started buying their waste. I'm always looking for a product that I can recycle and get cheap. Mm-hmm. And so that's just the kind of my mind works. I have a marketing degree by background. And so like James was talking about some of my inputs are, they're lesser compared to some other businesses, but I still have the same power bill when I'm making seeds versus growing bud. That's all I make now is seeds. I don't grow any smokable bud unless I'm testing it. And so it costs me just as much, a $400 a month power bill. And that's tough on a lot of people,
Yeah. And again, it's like a lot of just things in holding patterns. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, I'm just keeping all those over there just in case, or if I have to wait and see what happens on this next round, and then I'm going to decide and go back and call out what's what. And I do it all.
It's about marketing and telling a good
just
story.
a side tangent. One of your fellow breeders I know has a 20 lighter. He's got all on solar.
On solar?
On fucking solar.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's talk more about that. That
He's
sounds
completely
great.
off the grid.
That's amazing.
Before we talk about
here's
vegan,
the thing, though.
Before we talk about solar, how does something become vegan?
No animal inputs, obviously.
Isn't a worm casting an animal input?
You got to get a V on your package, and then you're vegan.
Huh?
The worm castings are considered vegan from what I've read and researched.
I mean,
you're
not eating the actual
worms.
Don't using the worm. The worms are live.
Got it.
Because they're not an animal.
They're just
Yeah,
working
but this
for
is
you.
just like
They're working for you. They're kind of working for you. They're like, it's like that's something.
Yeah.
You're not.
But wouldn't that be the same as drinking milk, which isn't vegan?
Oh, look at you.
Wait, no. Oh.
Milk, like that.
Speaking of milk, I like to use lactobacillus acidophilus.
Yes.
That's a good soil enhancer. So I already am kind of using milk as well.
Oh yeah, we love a good lactobacillus, right?
Oh yeah,
it's a miracle. But it's good. It's good that you're growing, because I always feel that when you're growing organically for seeds, you get a better seed you get a thicker seed, because when you grow on hydro, I've seen many times people growing on hydro and they're just like trying to keep it cheap and just doing an A/B real simple. And then you end up with these like real thin coated seeds, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's not a good long-term sort of storage. There's a lot of water in there,
Is wool vegan?
Wool? I don't know. It sounds pretty torturous to the animals for a true vegan. Maybe like
only if the sheep shits the wool out, I guess. If it comes off the sheep, then it's no good.
Or he loses a leg.
Yeah.
Is this the vegan hour? I missed it. Something.
Yeah. We're going.
No, I was just curious. Seriously, I'm not trying to poke. I'm trying to have a laugh with it now, but I'm trying to figure out what makes cannabis Vegan. I'm serious. I'm
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, by definition, vegans do not participate in any form of exploitation of animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. This makes wool firmly not vegan.
Okay,
You
wool's
had
not
the
vegan. So
firm layer.
that's
I like the
my
firm
that was my
part.
follow up.
What about sheep shit?
There goes your
Not
whole.
vegan.
There goes your whole wool line you were about to do.
Am I gonna get in trouble
Were
for
you-
even
were you-
asking? Should I have known that?
No.
Yes,
Should I
because
have known
Skunk
that?
Works was going to be working on a whole clothing line using
I
skunk.
have no. I thought maybe
Skunk
because
wool.
it didn't die.
Skunk wool, the latest trend.
So we talked about how you got your start. What were the genetics that really made you go, holy shit, this is working. I can do this.
That was the CSI that I picked through. Is when I started working through that, I just got fist-sized buds, and some of these modern hybrids, they're hard to produce a big nugget. You don't get anything, and so that was one of the things that I said, holy shit, about. I'm onto something. I didn't know much about skunk 4 years ago, and then I really started diving into what it is. And it's a whole category of itself that's not the dessert category, as we'll call it. Me and James were talking about last night. I think we're at the tail phase of that, and people are really interested in skunk.
Unless you're in
and,
LA. Unless you're in LA. In LA, still candy all day.
Okay.
That's all they want. That's all they want, man. It's crazy. They haven't figured it out.
So as I started diving into that genome a little bit, though, it's a complex genome, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but I actually have some phylos data.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
You probably can't see it. There we go.
Are you showing us a white screen?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, we've
Now
got
we
a-
see it,
we've got
definitely.
It looks like a
Interesting.
little
Very,
cigarette.
very large.
So
amount.
that's the CSI skunk, and if you start looking at what David Watson's is, this is the David Watson.
That looks about right too. In a sense, makes sense because they have a lot going in there with Acapulco Gold and
Yeah.
Colombian and.
So I found some things on Twitter that really fascinated me, and Phylos, one of the guys from that company, he was on there talking about the government's medical cannabis program, and they're growing nothing but skunk one. And so as I started learning all these little insights about the medicinal value and the commercial industrial value of skunk, I mean, skunk terpenes can even be used for pesticides. I found that on Wikipedia. So it's just a natural fascination of it. I guess that I'm breeding seeds, but I'm breeding seeds out of fascination for what I can find industrial use wise someday when my company's far enough along.
Good for you.
Now, are you getting testing done on a regular or?
I started as a caregiver. I started testing my products, so I hit the 30% range, but I haven't got back into really testing what's in them. The skunk category is I'm interested in the thiols because, from my understanding, thiols aren't really found in a lot of cannabis, and
I got that wrong on the test.
They're volatile.
Yeah, he failed that actually last week.
I got that wrong on
we had
James Bean asked me questions and I got thiols wrong. So we should have done your interview the week before. I'd have won 5,000 seeds, man.
Could have been there. Could have been a contender.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely thiols and sulfur compounds and these minor compounds are definitely where it's probably that, because otherwise you would have nailed it a long time ago.
With my skunk number one pheno, it starts off sweet, but then after the 30-day mark, it starts to rot into something skunky, and it's fascinating.
Dave, you bastard.
In a lot of the hybrids that I'm making with it, I'm obviously using skunk number one for structure because skunk number one was at least one of 20,000 plants. The story goes, and so it's a hybrid plant that's highly structural. So I'm using that to create something that the new home grower can be fascinated with. I grew out of a lot of the hybrids and the runts and all that. They're great strains. I started to grow tired of all the hybrids that came off of them. So I'm starting back from square one.
All right, we got a little distracted over here because Dave's
No, well, I just want to bring it home.
I did that.
To bring
I
it
did
home,
that.
Yeah, to bring it home to the everyday person that doesn't, try to grow cannabis. Early on in the sector, I was told that like if you're trying to get your property set up to grow cannabis, it should be the same thing as growing basil. Like if you get the same greenhouses and the same property and the same everything, the same energy to grow basil, you'll be able to flip that really fast for cannabis. And I can grow basil in my backyard in like 4 seconds without even doing anything to it.
Damn.
Well, no, just like basil. Like I started growing basil as like a little bit of a test, right? I was like, oh, because I'd never grown anything in my life. I was like, oh, I'll try basil first. And it grew in my backyard. It's like all over this whole plant bed. But then I've never successfully grown a cannabis plant. Like, it is very difficult.
Say it isn't so.
Come on.
It is.
Come on, Jane West.
Well,
please.
here's the thing about like homegrown.
Jane,
Like
everyone's
everyone's like
selling
worried
Jane West
about it, but
stock
like
right
in
now.
reality, like no, because I've never done it successfully. That doesn't mean I haven't tried. And in trying, that's when you realize how hard it is to do it really well. Like, and so that's part of like the whole genetics talk and why
Basil's good, except it attracts whiteflies like a motherfucker. Like if you try to grow basil in your plant near your plants, it's a good one to actually attract all the whiteflies to get them away from your plants. But those things will.
But it's important that like people who are buying seeds and genetics know that they're buying something like from a trusted source.
If we would have known,
yes, Jane, we got another Jane West drop.
If we would have known
James Bean.
that you were flying to Dallas to do this thing, we would have got you in
420.
touch with our boy.
Was a
down
nugget.
there.
I love that you looked it up.
He grows
'Cause you were like,
more
no fucking
basil
way.
than anybody
Oh yeah, we
in
do.
all
We
of
have.
Texas.
yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
True, 100%.
Yeah, I've
He
heard
grows
about.
so much. He seriously, he is almost cornered the market there. If you're gonna grow basil and buy a start,
Yeah.
you bought it from him.
This was.
It's true.
I'm repeating something I heard from someone I trust. I don't even know if it's necessarily true.
It is
Not.
because
Okay.
that's how I
Not.
met him, because he was in that industry and I
Okay.
spoke at an AgCon event, and he was one of the only people that spoke to me afterwards after I
He's like,
totally
I got you.
destroyed
I got
in a
you.
bad way my speech.
It's weird.
Basil's
The
good.
guy that created the Reaper pepper, whatever, it's the world's hottest pepper. He used to be a marijuana farmer before the.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Peppers are fun.
So was James. He was a Reaper pepper grower who used to throw raves.
Yes, sir. Reaper peppers all the way.
And the
hey,
gen-
so let's talk about your strains again. Can you
Yeah.
give me like a
Sidetrack,
detailed
The skunk
breakdown
strains.
of your current skunky strains and how do they relate to the original skunk one?
Yeah, so the original skunk number 1 is a little bit sweeter, like we said, by definition, but the genome's still there for the skunkiness, and so that's what I've tried to do is I've tried to bring that back out, and like I said, that's a tough undertaking, but I have found a lot of skunkiness, and so as I keep building my line, I started with skunk number 1, then we added Gorilla Glue, Triple OG. And then I finally got a hold of Roadkill Skunk, so I added that to the mix. Roadkill Skunk is legendary, but we're finding a lot of rubber terps in that right now. I'm just trying to build, I look at it as like a Word document. Each of us are working into writing a document, and we're each adding to it over and over again. So with back to skunk number 1 is, now that I've bred it outwards, now I'm bringing it back to skunk number 1 again and breeding it into my original stock. So it's quite the process.
Yeah, and it's again, people are so everyone has a different perception of skunk, and there are a lot of times too, because when you get a real skunk, like a true skunk, not a plant but an actual skunk, is like, it reminds you like, oh fuck yeah, there is definitely cannabis out there, because I've smelled it back in the day, but it's so lost that like real true fucking like, so lost, just straight up like sulfury but heavy. Because I was the other, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I had my friend, my kid was over at a friend's house, and their dog got skunked, and I was like, wow, this has been so long.
Makes you want to cry.
Since I had the real, I loved it. I was like, this smells great. That's perfect. We stopped talking.
This smells like your mother-in-law thinks it's actually a skunk.
One of my prized
Smells like your mother-in-law.
No, it smells like your mother-in-law actually thinks it's a skunk.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about that all the time. How in like the early '90s, people used to look for dead skunks and put them on their roads.
I believe it.
He was about to tell us.
Tell us.
What were you about to say?
Oh, so back to mom saying stuff like smells like skunk. My stepmom, I had her smell my super skunk cut that I found. It's my phenotype of it, and it reeks like skunk spray on the stalk rub. But again, by definition, super skunk is a more sweet, earthy flavor, and so I definitely nailed that. But to genetic marker points is that there's something in that plant. Obviously, in the stalk rub, it's very powerful. You don't usually get a stalk rub that smells like a pure skunk. So I'm onto something. I used that phenotype, and that's actually on seedsherenow.com. I added my Gorilla Roadkill to that mix, and so to the point is, as a breeder, when something stands out to you like a skunk spray, a skunk spray marker by doing a stalk rub, you should probably keep that around. And so that's what the point of that is. I'm trying to bring that out and stabilize that. So I'm on to skunk. I've definitely got some skunky strains, but I'm trying to provide the market what they're looking for. And the only thing I have is feedback right now.
And what's the male? And do you have like a single male that you're using over and over again, or are you kind of like going multi-generational on that, or is it like you kind of stopped with one that you found that kind of locks in the things that you're looking for?
Yeah, so the male's definitely important for locking in that skunk that you're talking about. I did find one male stud, and I released 22 strains during the spring with that. And then I did an open pollination with 5 males, Gorilla Roadkill males. And so I did an open pollination and a single stud project. Mm-hmm. And the point of that is Exotic Genetics taught me that because basically he did a Tina line. And his Tina line, you could thoroughly taste Tina all the way through the line that he did. And so that's the point, is for the consumer to experience what is Gorilla Roadkill and what does it do to all these different strains that I've worked with. So that was my first really massive release of seeds. Just using that one Gorilla Roadkill and then letting people experience what they wanted.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to track like that than it is to do an open pollination. I mean, if you do an open pollination, it's actually better for the plants and better for the world in a sense. Like you'll get more cool combination stuff, but it's harder to lock down what's doing what. You know what I mean? Compared to like if you're like you did before, like classic hitting 22 things with one male. By the 5th plant, you're going to say like, well, it fucking does that, obviously, because it's done it to every one of these instead of like just kind of hit and miss. But again, those open pollinations are really important. And if you have, depends what you got. Like if you only have a few, like say you have 20 seeds, fucking let them all just go. You know what I mean? There's no point of trying to like lock in something there. But if you have a fuck ton, it's like kind of like it becomes hard because you'll you could work forever at that. So it's better to maybe on those ones find something that you like and then run with that.
Yeah, and then that's what people realize is seed breeding is all about what I like, and then hopefully you like it too. So, and I have to like it first because I want to be proud of it when I release it, and I'm proud of what I've created right now. Nice. And in studying my back to skunk number 1 and studying what it's done. In all cannabis, when you're smoking cannabis, you get a palate flavor. You get a first palate flavor, then you get a second palate flavor, like wine tasting. And I know I'm onto something because the second palate flavor leaves a skunky taste in your mouth. So it's kind of hard to get the first palate flavor, like strawberry, to go away. But you can't really breed that out of it. It's kind of tough. But you can add things like a sour skunk to it. And that's what my seeds are trying to provide for people.
Someone out here in Colorado, please grow his skunk strain. My first trip to Amsterdam in 1990, every single fucking place had their version of skunk.
I have this memory of walking. I just have this memory of walking into my very first legal dispensary in 2014, and on the sign in like chalkboard, but after the first giant metal wall, on the sign in chalkboard it said, "Today's special, blue donkey dick." And I just remember being like, what?
They didn't know Jane West was coming in the door. When
No, whatever. I didn't even know. That was so
You didn't
long
say.
ago.
Can you tell me about the
But
palate
not-
on
Please
that?
tell me the
Is
palate.
the second?
How is the second
Wait.
palate on that? Dunk? Is it
No, it's
Dagger?
so much more refined.
Is
thank
it
God.
salty or on the
Yeah.
mild side?
I mean, I think it's overwhelming.
Of course it would be.
Yeah, I think with a name like that, it's got to be overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
When I remember walking into the dampering, and the way they did it, it was like buying meat at a
Yes,
butcher.
yes.
You know, they
That's
just
what I
weighed it
liked,
out,
'cause
whatever
I
it
did
was.
like to smell
Deli
it.
style,
So I
deli
like
style.
so much to be able to smell it.
Oh, you can just say,
exist
"Give me
anymore.
that nug, give me that nug,"
Yeah.
and
The one with
whatever
the
it
donkey
weighed,
dick
you paid.
likes to smell it.
I want
That's
to smell
why
that
their
donkey dick.
varietals-
Okay, James,
Their
go ahead
varietals
and
would be
smell
perfect
yourself.
at like a dinner, like one of these dinners in Colorado where they do the pairings. Like what he's made would be perfect for something that starts with a
Donkey dick.
So I
strawberry.
have a new strain, which
A
is
strawberry.
well, I have a strain which is from Michigan,
Were you
which
listening?
is from
Not really.
which is from
Starts with a strawberry.
fuck,
No,
I can't remember the name.
Bigfoot's.
Yeah, Bigfoot's
Ends
dick.
with
It's
a
called-
skunk.
No, it's Bigfoot's,
Bigfoot's dick.
Strawberry.
So yeah, we can.
Swiss chard.
So if you are
salad,
not a
like
member
really
of our,
red
if you're not a member of our Patreon, you should join Patreon, and you'll hear all about Bigfoot's dick
Patreon.
growing in Adam's field.
No, it's pretty
You know,
pretty good strain.
yeah.
But it's from
All right,
Vault. Oh, it's from
so,
Vault Builders. You ever heard
How,
of Vault
how
Builders?
stable are your skunky strains? And have you noticed any like variation or drift or anything like that?
What? Can you repeat that question again?
How stable are your skunks? And have you noticed any significant variation or drift in the skunkiness over multiple generations?
I haven't noticed anything. It passes on the structure, so it increases the bud size, and it also makes things on a structural side. It increases the bud size and gives it more of a bushy structure. So if you're trying to combine a tall strain, like for example, like Baby Yoda was pretty tall on me when I combined that into skunk, and it's trying to make the skunk compact. So flavor-wise, yes, I'm finding that it drifts through all into the secondary palate flavors. So
You're talking about a good drift, actually. You're not saying
Yeah.
like a bad. He's
Oh,
talking, he's talking more like drift, like away
Yeah.
from the original sort of what you're looking for. I think, right, James?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Just so you
no,
know.
I find that it doesn't really drift away from what I'm looking for. It adds to everything. So on Seeds Here Now, speaking of strawberry strains, I actually took Straw Nana. That's a pretty hot cut. That's been around for a while, and
Yeah.
I was working with that since 2016, and so I'm pretty familiar with the genotype there. And that was the first plant I actually got tested. That one's by Crockett and DNA there. So I'm happy to be releasing that again in my own version of it, my own twist.
Does it have a bushy structure?
Straw Nana was tall, and so that was the point is when you're breeding, you're taking contrasting characteristics. That plant was tall, whereas my skunk is bushy. And so that was the point of that project, is trying to create something that threw off the Straw Nana potency and combining it with the skunk structure and flavor. So that's the goal of that, and that's on Seeds Here Now right now. It's Straw Nana skunk.
The one with the bushy
Try it.
structure.
I want to try it.
Yep.
Okay.
You'll
No,
get
he
a
made
bushy
it
structure
tall.
out of that.
He took it and made it tall.
Got it.
It was tall before, and I made it bushy.
Oh.
Oh,
No, I
man.
don't. I already said I
fucked it
can't
up.
figure out how to make this plant grow.
She fucked up. She went backwards.
I know.
It's all right. We got you.
Now,
Don't
how,
worry.
how
was
do
just trying to think of
how do
the-
skunks generally fare against like pests and disease stuff like that?
They're typically a little bit more immune to that stuff, but I don't think that
Don't get him.
there's a little bit of resiliency there, but I don't think it's something to write home about.
Right.
I've done a little bit of research on powdery mildew and various things like that, and it has to do with
Yes, it's like Adam Dunn, powdery mildew, Adam Dunn, Europe.
Yeah,
that-
but,
oh, yeah,
wait,
yeah,
but
it's like
shut
Europe.
up, James.
Adam Dunn.
But your experience with your genetics are you're growing them in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke earlier about how it can be different. So,
Moist.
Colorado.
I mean, we have issues. I think it's weird about powdery mildew in general is that people always assume in their mind that it's about like being too wet, but it's not about being wet. It's always in the it's more of a swing. You know what
Why
I mean?
did that get a badum pump?
So if you have a swing in your temperature, you're going to probably have a chance. There's a higher chance you're going to get powdery mildew. Whereas if you have stable temperature, you should be fine. And the problem is that people don't do very good on their environmental controls. And so at night, the lights go out, the humidity goes up, and it crosses over this certain like there's just a tiny little band, and as it goes past that band, either up or down,
Dew point.
that is exactly where it's like, it's like where the dew point is. And it's also when all the activity's happening, and it's like, hey, this is the perfect environment for powdery mildew.
I will
to
grow under any conditions.
Whereas if you keep it outside of that range, you'll never have it. You'll never see it. So it's very opportunistic, but.
Now, speaking of like nug structure wise, obviously you don't want to grow a giant nug and it gets moldy on you. And that's one of the prime things with skunk number 1 is you can grow large nuggets and you're not going to get that inner bud rot or the botrytis mold. So I actually grew skunk number 1 outdoors for several seasons just to test and see what it actually did in the real element. And it's an extremely strong plant. My pheno didn't fare well in Michigan only because it wouldn't finish out for me. I had one guy actually get angry at me because the plant grew too big. And so it became this giant 12-foot monster outside. But it's a good plant. It is resilient, but it's got some good features to it. So it's a good outdoor strain, definitely.
Yeah. I think especially for Midwestern growers, home growers.
Well, what I always found is like when I was making seeds in Amsterdam, I was always like...
And East Coast.
I felt like because we grew them in shitty environments, like that when they got to go somewhere good, like his guy would take them back to Cali or something and be like, dude, these things are amazing.
It's like an orphan finding a home.
I'd be like, holy
Yeah.
fuck, I've never even seen the plant look
I'm
like
sure
that.
there's
Because,
like Cali seeds would do better in Michigan.
well, no, but that's the problem. You take them from Cali, right? Now they wake up. Now they're in Michigan. They're like,
is just
this
what it is.
sucks. They're like,
Yeah.
we're born in California,
You gotta
bro.
Darwin it.
We don't want to grow.
Yeah.
And then they grow shitty. So I think you're almost better growing them in shittier places to create plants that are just dying to grow somewhere better. You know what I mean? Especially for outdoor.
Take Michigan plants out of Michigan, plant them on the coast. They thrive.
Oh yeah, because they want to see it because they're like, we're from the third coast and we can't see shit. So
They're like Crab Beach.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think there's some breeders feel that there's a difference between growing seeds outdoors and indoors? Do you find that there's a difference in the value of the seed there?
depends. It really just depends on your finishing times. Like if you're outdoors and you're cutting it close and your seeds don't get a chance to fully develop, then obviously they're not going to be as good as if you're indoors and you can let them go. Because the whole thing about making seeds is you're not worried about the plant, you're worried about the seeds, right? So you're just growing them until they're as ugly as hell. They're just falling, seeds are falling out. You can see like every bracts are all turning brown and, you know, they don't look good. But that's a good sign because it means that they're 100% finished inside the plant compared to like taking them when they look really good. And outdoors, I mean, there's so many years that you cut it so tight. But if you have a really good environment, like if you live in Cali and you can go till November or December, sure. Yeah, but I would be always a little more sketched. But of course, the other problem too is outdoor plants, cross-contamination wise. That's I wouldn't trust that at all unless you're growing one type. Like, okay, I've got 20 plants outdoors and I'm hitting them all with one type of pollen and there's nobody around me, for sure.
What if the goal is just to grow a bunch of weed? How much does cross-pollination... No, I'm legit question. Like, how much does cross-pollination matter if the goal is just to make more of everything?
Well, no, you don't want any pollination if you want to grow weed. Yeah. That's the problem. Is like if you take like I've seen 5-acre hemp fields flowered like completely seeded with 2 plants, one on each corner of the field, and they blasted it out. And I was like, damn, that's 5 acres, 2 plants. So you don't need much, you know what I mean? And that's just because they didn't want to go any further. You know, they went in and took every single other male out of there and hit it up with just those 2, but still fully seeded. You know?
That summer we grew some outdoor, and you know, there was a hemp farm 3/4 of a mile away. Yeah. Seeded the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, outdoors. It's from a. Yeah, you'd rather only do it if you live somewhere super isolated and you can control the environment. But the quality of the seeds is again, depending on your environment, and indoors is way easier.
I was having this conversation today. We forget that in the 80s, all the good weed from California was outdoor grown. We all loved it. There was a terpene structure that we found to just be cosmic.
Yeah.
Outdoor
weed can be great.
He's
talking about seeds.
Yeah, totally different.
But eventually you're going to grow it somewhere, right? I mean, I think it's different, but it can be the same, and it can be better in either place. And finding that one strain that grows there with that.
That's the hard part. I mean, that's like you really don't know until you get, like, there's certain plants that when you grow, a lot of OGs don't grow great outdoors. You know, they're not as vibrant. There's a lot of structural problems or whatever. And then you get, obviously, anything that's super long sativa or got big branches is going to absorb a lot of water and break branches. And there's all sorts of issues you don't ever have indoors. That all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, this plant looks great. So it's the day you think it looks the best is the day that the rain comes down and then the branch breaks and the plant splits, or the hail comes, or the so.
Well, I hope somebody grows your skunk and hears me and comes by the studio, because it brings back. It really was the dominant strain grown at every coffee shop in Amsterdam in 1990.
And if you had a greenhouse, you could grow the most amount of seed, controlled-ish indoors style, if you really wanted to go for that maximum whatever. But really, you can do a lot of damage with in a small area. So
it just went away so quickly.
One thing I've been trying to do is collect as many skunk varieties. I kind of had an addiction to collecting stuff, like we all do, being seed guys. I just tried to collect as many skunk varieties as possible. I have Trinity right now, which is supposed to be legendary skunky, and so I'm going to be working with that next. But talking about inbred skunks a little bit, I've collected something called Rockster's Cheese 2, which is a UK variety. Rockster inbred skunk #1 for like 30 years. So I collected his variety too, and I'm going to be using that for projects. But that's the whole goal here, is to keep jamming as much skunk into one genome as possible, and hopefully something unlocks in it. So I've also used
the skunky shotgun approach, basically. Just keep blasting it with as much as you can, and hopefully you leave nothing left that you can't do it. So
I've even used the AG Seedco skunk #1, which was obviously in High Times. They talked about that a lot. So I jammed that into my Gorilla Roadkill, and I'll probably be researching that soon. One thing I wanted to point out, though, is that the value of some of these plants, it's not the value of the plant itself and sometimes smoking the bud. It's in a couple things, It's like having a plant with an outrageous stalk rub, having a plant that produces good seeds. Some plants, my skunk #1 plant produces seeds that are on the smaller side, versus my super skunk plant produces giant seeds that are bigger. And that's the old debate, is big or better. So I've actually kind of found some truth in that, and a small seed can produce just as vigorous results as a big one. But
I think I think a lot of that, though, you'll really notice, like when you grow haze. Haze has a lot smaller seeds because the plants are huge buds, the biggest buds you've ever grown, because they stack differently. Whereas if you get those huge seeds, they tend to be more like the indica plants that look, as you're growing it, you're like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. Then you dry it and you're all kind of like, what the fuck happened to everything? Like, it was so big before. I was like, no, this sucks. Whereas, so there's kind of a duality there, where a lot of times the smallest seeds produce, in my opinion, the bigger, like those donkey dicks you were talking about. Those donkey dicks.
They were blue. They were blue.
What were you talking about, James?
Purple donkey dick would have made more sense at the time.
Oh yeah, big throbbing purple donkey dick.
I don't know.
That plant on the
blue.
table was a really
maybe
small
blue
seed.
donkey because the airport.
Oh yeah.
I just thought of that for the first time ever.
Nailed it.
But no, it's not a Denver-based strain, right? Isn't that like a?
That was it. You nailed it. Yep. What was that? What's that thing called?
Conspiracy theory now. That's Denver Airport.
No, it's Lucifer.
Yeah.
Lucifer the horse.
Lucifer the horse.
That's what I was just realizing. I don't know.
But no, I think
they keep all the reptilians underneath that place.
I think the size of the seed, it really is like, depending on, like, as the bracts, when you see them growing, you'll see, especially when you're making seeds, there's certain plants, because you hit them up early enough that they don't develop as fully as they may have if you let them just keep going, right? And you'll end up with just humongous seeds. Like, it's always good to seed lighter than you want to, you know, if you don't want to go super duper heavy, because then you'll get higher quality number of good, bigger seeds. Whereas if you overdo it, they'll end up making smaller, usually competitively, to try to outdo, because the plants are competing internally, you know, like they're whoever can develop the fastest.
Yeah.
So,
But you need the confidence to plant that few. Most people invest in the seeds, but then they're like,
it's about how hard you hit them with the pollen. Like if you don't, do you when you're pollinating, do everything like by a room, like one male in the room and let the whole thing go, or do you do by hand pollination?
It's kind of a personal question, isn't it?
No.
Does it by hand?
So I started off using a paintbrush, and there's always a story, but this paintbrush had been used by an artist that I respect, and she passed. So I got her paintbrush, and I started pollinating using the paintbrush like Bob Ross, kind of like dabbing it around, like. And you know, some guys do that, but then I started making videos for Reddit, and Reddit like apparently really likes to. They just like to watch pollination, so I just started chucking one plant
bunch of pervs,
and tossing it all over like this. And,
look at you!
yeah.
Did you play like the sexy music in the background when you were doing that?
You can OnlyFans that shit.
Like
we have that. We have
Only pollen.
I showed mine last week. We had a
Whoa,
full,
whoa,
full
whoa!
helicopter. We have full helicopter mode. We can pull it up. We have a full helicopter mode. It came out. It was like really funny because I was filming it. I was doing the pollinating and filming at the same time. It was like doing your own home porno.
James, any chance you want to do a little giveaway right now to a grower in Colorado who would grow them out? And when I say giveaway, I say just give them to Mike Denver so he can grow them for us.
So I'm doing a giveaway right now in the chat. They just haven't paid attention to it.
Mike Denver, just put if you're in the chat, just do it so James can send you a pack of these seeds so that you can grow some skunk for us.
Damn, that was easy. Oh, here we go.
Vinny.
Here we go. Helicopter.
oh,
Look at this.
Oh, that's like the tassel on a
Helicopter mode. Oh.
Bomb chicka bomb bomb.
Look at it. Now it's going.
Bomb,
It's going.
chicka, dum,
Yeah, arg.
keep clouds.
Yes. Anyway, it was funny because after I watched it, I was like, damn, that thing looks like a proper stripper bone there.
He's like,
You know, flipping and flopping.
But
and
that's why I chose to use one single male or one single line of the Gorilla Roadkill male. It's just I didn't want to cross-pollinate anything and ruin it.
Sure.
Jaime Chiba taught me that, and I really respected that about him, is that when I was watching his podcast, that's the only thing I've kind of heard from him is he was just very anal about what he did. He was very strict and tight about what he did, and because it's all about preserving things. We don't want to change it over and over again. We want intended results. So that's why my first release like this was only using one line.
Yeah.
And as I keep exploring that and adding to it, then I'll get crazy with it. But
Well, no, I've watched people do some really ridiculous things where you're like, you don't think that piece of plastic is going to keep pollen from going over to there, do you? Like, are you kidding me? And I've seen people do like multiple projects and literally just have pieces of plastic. Like, it's like that's not how it works. Sorry.
Yeah.
You have to be. It's a lot easier to do it the way, like you're saying, just do it one thing. That's kind of the way I do it. Also, occasionally.
Off my original skunk plant, I did get a really good. It was kind of interesting. When I first started working with that plant, I made 4 or 5 different strains on one plant. And so I was very careful with taking a paintbrush and pollinating it. So I did experiment that. I grew the seeds out, and that I got to see from one plant all the variations. So that kind of started me off with a couple of my strains. But it's trial and error and then scaling up from there. And I've had plenty of trial and error, and people have grown my seeds, and the feedback's been fabulous. So
yeah, that's it. I mean, you
I
have
appreciate that with people.
You got to get the feedback. We were talking about that a few shows ago, where it's like it's really hard to get. Like, you give out a ton of testers, and you get like 1 out of 100 come back to you with actual information and fully.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you're like, hey, how'd that go? And they're like, oh, I haven't grown them yet. You're like, what? Dude, I thought you were testing them for me. Like, oh, you got them in the drawer.
It's very
bro.
hard to do.
Or they got a whole line of other shit.
Testing
Or
how
they sold
long
them.
I can keep them in my drawer, man, before I pop them.
I wish that we could simply acquire plants at a later stage
legally, like
Home Depot
this whole
style?
like totally this whole like clone
You
thing.
mean like if somebody sold clones
Oh,
ready
yeah,
to go?
no, I need a clone
Jane
that's like
West.
ready to go. But like we
What?
agreed to this at 6 inches or less or something
Clones
like
here
that in Colorado.
Right here.
But if we had just agreed to like no
6
height,
inches
whatever.
or less. Oh my God.
I think
she's-
we did. And
Three
but like, and that's
knuckles.
why there were these little tiny ones. But like, if I could just buy what I absolutely trusted,
Oh my God, look
like
at this.
from
What if you really? Hold on a second.
Hold on.
If someone could provide that for you, they'd be awesome, right?
in like a whole like it's gotta be like this big.
Really? Pay
Maybe put it
attention.
right in the backyard.
It's called.
Perfectly.
What is it again, James? iwantclones.com.
Yes.
There you go.
I want 4-foot clones.
She wants 4 footers. Damn.
That's
I want
iwantplants.com.
teenagers.com.
Yeah.
Well, like the same
Which you
as
might
like
get in big trouble if you
No.
start.
How
tomato
big are the
plants.
clones?
The tomato plants that are already like.
It ain't happening.
Oh, Jane, we had a good bit going
We
there
were so
for a
close.
second.
We almost had it working.
We almost got there together, and you kind of fucked it up.
Need veg.
Yeah, a little bit, but in a good way because we can still laugh.
Full veg.
Yeah.
Look at this.
This is what you get.
AI has been working hard overnight.
You just made the clones feel inferior. They have.
You broke the system.
No,
They-
this is what we can. This is perfect. This is perfect.
You just gave them a complex.
No, because you cannot acquire them larger. If otherwise, I would recommend that.
Because it matters.
I know. No, I appreciate that.
Holy
It's just-
Moses.
I'm not
James
very good
Bean,
at it.
look at you, buddy.
Working hard.
Wow.
So
And do we still charge him the same advertising rates for even though he's
It's double.
growing?
Now it's double.
Yeah,
It does double.
buddy, we're gonna need to talk after this episode, okay? Either it's gonna be so we're gonna go standard the $2,000 a month for the iwantclones.com. That's another $2,000 for seedsherenow.com, and whatever shirt you're wearing
want
right
the
there, we
seeds.
have to charge you for coming on with that shirt.
Oh, there's multiple. He's got so
definitely
many.
want
You have
that.
so many logos on there that every logo is another $250.
Yeah.
$250.
Dr. Shirt. It's very much.
buy clones. So can you ship clowns to every state?
Every state.
Yes, sir. Timbuktu.
Great. That's
Timbuktu.
awesome.
It said Timbuktu. I saw. Even.
Really?
Everywhere.
So James Bean, what's the done deal discount?
International too. We've shipped clones to allegedly to Thailand.
What's the done deal code? And have we signed an affiliate agreement so that we're getting a little piece as well from every sale?
No, not at all. No damn fucking thing. But if Dunn wants to sell clones, I would love to sell certified Adam Dunn clones.
No, well, we need a piece of everybody who enters done deal.
Oh, he can have the whole thing?
Well, we got
Gotta
the
flower
wholesale.
this thing
You can
out
do it all,
first.
Dave. You can even make the clones, make them and sell them.
I can't do that. You know that.
You make them.
I'm
do it,
pulling
Dave.
them off of
Yeah.
that thing right there.
Did
You
see,
can
did
get
you
an
see,
internship program
You see
started.
Vinny and did you see Vinny
They'll
and
make them.
Mark's plant? This is Vinny and Mark's plant.
It's beautiful.
They claimed
I
this
assumed
was
that
the
it was
tiny.
part
That was
of
a
I
tiny
Want
seed.
Clones.
Tiny seed.
Last week it was this
That's like
big.
16 days old, right? The plant?
21.
This
21
is,
days.
this is
21
so
days.
full of shit.
21 days old.
August 1st was
Right out of the ground.
Got a little stem rope.
Yeah, right, that's what it looked like 21 days ago.
Seriously, James,
Oh, here
can
it
we
comes.
give away a pack of seeds to Mike Denver so we can try this skunk strain? You've been showing us breeders for the longest time. I've never asked you to send a pack to someone I know who can grow it for the show. This time I
You
am.
just ask somebody, you just ask the breeder, like, hey, give me some seeds.
I'm
Yes,
asking
Dave,
you.
Yes, Dave, we can hook you up.
All right.
I gotta send me some bagels.
No problem. Can I send bagels to Mexico?
Damn right, you send everything to Mexico. We just can't ship anything back.
Yeah, but you know what overnight to Mexico
We
is
don't worry
going to
about
be?
what's coming out of the United States. They care about what's going in.
The other way around. You mean.
Saying.
Oh, American.
How about you just come to Colorado and make you bagels? I mean, it's kind of like
It's way cheaper.
it's kind of like
All
saying,
feds ain't watching this.
let me
But you just come to Mexico and get you some skunk seeds then.
let me have some skunk seeds. Let me grow it and then drag it behind my car while I go deliver it to you.
Let's
You
do
can't
it.
do that with bagels, buddy.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
You gotta like be there.
So iwantclones.com, enter done deal at checkout. James Bean just said he'll give all the proceeds to us.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Did you see that
That's
website? I just paid for that website today.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Dave. You want to pay for the
Yeah, no.
website?
No, we get the anyone who orders done deal code. You got to cut the show in.
Huge.
I might
It's just fair.
check it.
Yeah.
You know, we're
They
not.
do.
We're
I
not,
cut you guys in every month.
we're not playing that game anymore. We want it in crypto.
Yeah. Oh, we speaking of the game, we
I
got the
want
game.
it in
Well,
Solana.
I guess we'll play the game next time.
Yeah, we'll do the game next time when we're fully loaded. We had to,
Why didn't you have it?
on growing such amazing skunk strains in Michigan.
There's a lot of there's some good.
That was
there's-
to you, Nicholas.
Yeah.
There's a couple
Yeah,
good.
buddy.
There's a couple good. It seems like Michigan is
Yeah.
focused on skunk in a weird way too.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
but I think it has to do with the environment.
Because I had a few different groups out there with some good skunky shit. So.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan Roadkill
The
number
northern
4
thing.
is like a known one. Is that one out there? Do you know that one?
Let's get some to Fang.
There's something called the Dairy Farmer Cut of Roadkill Skunk, and that was the Michigan Dairy Farmer Cut. Stray Fox actually used that in a couple of his things, and so I got to see what that did as well.
Have you heard of Vault Builders?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they're out there in Michigan also. That's the guys that had the Bigfoot stick also, which I got. From
Okay.
That thing was,
Yeah, Bigfoot's actually a really big deal in Michigan. We were laughing about that the other days. There's just Bigfoot everywhere. Bigfoot pizza and various other things, but it's a legendary.
Nice, yeah, and it's kind of like a New York City Diesel vibed thing where it's got this like very sharp onion, it's like kind of a combination of that with like an onion bottom to it or something. It's pretty dirty. It's like you show it to somebody, and if they don't know that particular thing, because New York City Diesel had that weird, unique grapefruity vibe thing, which has got nothing to do with sour diesel, but is unique in its own right, you know. And this has that same
Yes.
thing with more of an onion bottom to it. What are we looking at here?
Are you going to be attending the Michigan Cup with
Yeah.
Fang?
So I was just
Oh yeah, Fang's Cup is coming up next.
Yeah,
month.
because he runs the Organic Cup and he's partnering with the Michigan Cup, and I guess Shannon Blake is their headliner, who has like 1.2 gazillion followers on the socials. But it's Michigan, so you guys all know each other, right? So, the Michigan Cup says right here, Cure Michigan Cup 2024, September 6th through the 8th, 3-day camping and music festival, 10542 Blair Lake Street, Jones, Michigan. If you want to purchase tickets, you go to bigcloudpresents.com. I don't think you get any done deal, but just go to Big Cloud Presents or follow Mike Fang. He's F4N and then a whole bunch of G's on Instagram.
It's a great time to go to Michigan.
Is it? Why that time of year?
So is it true in
How
Michigan
far
right
away is
now
this
you
from
can
Niles?
shoot mosquitoes with a
I
shotgun?
already could just like hear the mosquitoes in your
I'm not
head.
sure about that. I haven't heard about that, but
I hear they're mosquito farms. They milk them.
After the
Really?
first freeze, it should
Hey, Dunn.
Yes, sir.
Adam, did you say something about Bigfoot and a sour diesel? Something?
Bigfoot's dick.
I said Bigfoot's dick. There it is. Look at that.
That's Bigfoot's dick.
No, it's Bigfoot driving a sour diesel truck.
AI, tell me.
Hey, how quick did you whip that? You're like, yeah, I need a sour diesel.
I need a Bigfoot driving a sour diesel monster truck.
No, it's just weird coincidence. Like I knew then we've talked about Bigfoot's dick before, so I knew he was going to bring it up. So of course I had this thing.
I don't
That's a
think
big
we
dick
really brought it
extension.
up.
That's like a dick extension.
Jane
That's
did.
kind of funny. That's good call. Good call.
After the big bush, but Jane brought it up first, and then Adam reminded her that he grew Bigfoot's dick.
No, she was talking about donkey dicks.
Right, first.
Blue
and that's
blue
what-
donkey
and then
dicks.
it was a robust bush.
Correct. Robust.
Not
Robust.
just
Because
big.
of course.
Not just big.
No,
Robust.
robust.
That's
Right.
what we're all looking for.
Of course it is, Jane. The mic is
a
on.
robust strain that will grow big.
Take us home, Jane.
Yes, exactly.
What was that?
We're all looking for a robust strain that will grow big colas. And speaking about the donkeys, in high times, skunk number 1 actually won the first Cannabis Cup, and so that's another fascinating point. But in high times, they said that skunk number 1 produces big donkey dick colas, and so I have that right there, the magazine article on that, and says it right there.
Well, they were growing
Full circle.
Everything when Rob and
Full
Dave
circle.
were doing all their selection, it was always in greenhouses out there in Holland and stuff. And so they were growing 15-foot plants, you know what I mean? Like 15 feet wide, 15 feet tall, just big giant monster bushes because they didn't.
Not
You know,
wait.
they were trying
monster bushes, not robust
Not
bushes.
robust,
No,
monsterly
those are
robust
different.
bushes.
Monster and robust are different.
So
It's weird.
Thank you for coming on the show. I'm very interested in trying someone who
Yes.
grows out your strain. I
Agreed.
hadn't really thought about
Called-
this in a while.
What's his
Yeah.
name?
It's Nicholas, right?
Let's
No,
do
who's
our
gonna be
own
growing it out
little.
for you?
Oh,
Our
Mike
bud
Denver,
testing.
There you
please,
go,
buddy.
Mike Denver.
Mike Denver. Well, we trust him, and he's a really good grower.
Yeah.
And he's here.
Yeah.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows.
You fucking Dr. Phil.
That's
you,
it, right?
That's
you
a good one.
fucking set our
That's a good
Jane
one.
up.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
What the fuck was that,
okay.
man?
It's
And
all
you
good.
calling her a whore is not. This injustice will not stand, man.
I'm trying to create a
Yeah.
virtual reality tool to
You
help people
fuck
have
you,
butt
man.
sex with my sister Brittany. Take a look.
That's for, really you do that, Dr. Phil, with your own
Guys, that was
sister
amazing.
Brittany.
That was.
Kind of shit is that? So
That
just go to
was really fun to
seedsherenow.com.
listen to.
And today we announced that the Adam Dunn Show now will participate in the sale. If anyone who uses the Dunn Deal code, James Bean is going to send us a little thank you. So seedsherenow.com, Dunn Deal at checkout, and you can pick up Skunk Works genetics.
Yeah.
Skunk
I
really
want
works.
to.
Skunk
I want.
really.
Skunk
Skunk
really works.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jesus.
Devin the dude.
Are you
I know.
okay, dude?
I think like
Devin
the
and the
super.
Right,
You
Devin
can't
and
even
the
get
dude.
your wrong.
They
I had
finally
read
got
about
it right.
the super roadkill.
plural.
I think was the one.
Super roadkill.
Yeah, super roadkill.
Oh, okay. Super.
That's
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
I
heard.
agree
I
with
don't
that.
know.
That's the super skunk.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Any
I mean,
special?
that's the one to buy.
James, any special for the next 24 hours for anyone who buys Super Skunk Works?
Super roadkill.
Super road.
They'll get a free bagel from you.
No, because last time, well, we didn't plan this out, so I don't have a code, and my guys are off work. So last time I did this, I
You and your
put the whole
guys.
website.
I was trying for you guys who listen to the show. I'm sorry. It's James.
So well, I can do this. If anybody does, I'll throw in an extra free pack of something. We have
Keep
like
it over
a
there.
Free pack of like permanent.
Hold
ones,
on a
like 2
second.
packs.
She's about to fucking shake
A
this
free
seltzer
pack.
at us
No,
again.
I'm
Keep
not
it over
doing
there.
anything.
Just relax.
Okay, let him say the deal.
Let him
Dave.
say the
Sorry,
deal,
go
Dave. You
ahead.
just asked for the deal.
Sorry.
See what we deal with every week, girl.
Okay, let's go back. Cut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, back to the
All right.
beginning.
Go to one.
So anyone who's still
and
listening.
Action.
Yep.
Go ahead, James.
Go.
So anybody who's listening, we could do like a free 2 pack of permanent marker with any packs of his that are sold. So we'll do that for
There
you.
you go.
Wow.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a
Dave's
good
a
one.
party guy.
Just put a note in the order or something. Hey,
Done deal.
No, we'll just do the orders. Whoever orders it through the weekend, we'll just do it.
got it.
Well, there you go.
Love it.
You the man, James. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And somehow we kept Dave from interrupting you. It's amazing. I don't know how we did it.
How did we do it?
He had to look at his phone. He had to stare at his phone for
I
a
wanted
minute.
to see how many people might participate in this right now. So there's 82 of you listening live.
Yeah, that's
So let's get on that.
solid.
If you had a breeder's recommendation, I would really check out one that I'm really looking at is the Roadkill Cookies. That has a good story behind it. Read the description on seedsherenow.com. You can learn a little bit more about how I acquired that strain.
Nice.
Look at
All right,
that. Look at
good.
the little, he just left.
Well, that's a- that's a
That's called a
tidbit.
breadcrumb.
Yeah.
That's a breadcrumb.
That's a good. That's an excellent.
No, cool. We got a
An
nice
Easter
plug.
egg.
Easter egg. There you go. Easter egg / breadcrumb
Yes, Easter
/
egg.
nugget. Thank you, sir.
Easter egg.
We have to get into the most exciting part of the show. All the
I'm
ads.
never here for. What is the most exciting? part?
Betterwithjane.com.
No.
This is when we get to talk about all our
Have to
great
sell shit.
sponsors.
Well, oh yes. Oh wait. Hold on.
yeah.
I need. Can you open this before
let's
we
see
do
here. So
that?
I'll
Are
put
you
your
fucking
links up
kidding
in the
me?
It's
chat.
gonna spray on you probably.
I'm not doing it
Only because
again.
it got warm since I bought it. It's gonna spray on all of us. You know what? This is what you clean stuff with. You used to spill things and you pour
don't be
soda.
Dave. Just don't
Club
be
soda.
Just, yeah, don't. Yeah, right. That was all me.
Yeah.
That's Dave Barrett.
Emotional damage.
James, do you have another company you want to advertise right
Yes.
now so we can send you an extra bill?
IWantClones.com.
That's the only one.
Sweet.
IWantClones.com.
From the no clones zone to I Want Clones. That's how it works.
I want clones.
And done deal.
Done deal.
Sounds awesome.
I want clones.
All right, guys. Thank
Cool,
you
guys.
for coming through, as always, on short notice.
You can
As
stick
we always
around
do.
if you wish, and we'll tell how
Appreciate
old
it.
you are,
I'll be back.
but you don't have to.
No, for sure. Thank you for coming through, Franklin.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys. It's been an honor.
The whole night.
Thanks,
Thank you, sir.
Franklin.
Peace out.
Keep it going.
Keep
Who's
And
next? So
we
high.
in
are
Michigan.
recording live at So High Cafe. If you want to come check it out, 4300 West
Take
Alameda. You can be
12.
part of the Peanut Gang gallery here at the Adam Dunn Show.
Wow, that's a good invitation.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
check
could
it out.
fit more people in here. Do we
Yeah,
have
exactly.
like 100 people
And then
in here?
Sundays we record Sports Fiends. So
Bleachers.
Just so you know, one of the 27 people in here is Mr. X.
I know. I
Right,
can't believe
exactly.
he snuck in and grabbed a seat.
But also, Vinny does all the barbecue here, and it's
It's
know,
really,
it's-
it's really
some
good.
Yeah.
you know what's
I
good
heard.
though? You know what's good is when you
Brisket.
pull up, it just
I heard it's
smells
really
nice.
good.
It does smell good.
It just smells.
It
You're
does
like,
smell
hey, it
good.
smells really nice.
And he
here.
just figured out some
You
cornbread,
want
yo.
cornbread.
So-
Finally.
Really. Vinny's that friend you want to ding, but you cannot ding him on his barbecue. It is fucking spot on.
Who wants to do
4300 West Alameda. If you have a
even know.
podcast to record, you can rent studio time here and record your podcast.
Bring it on down on
Record it.
Sundays. We've got Sports Fiends.
Wait, it looks like you guys have another skill. You can, like, you're not bad growers, man.
Oh,
I already
you're
told you.
such
Vinny
a pain in the
Vinny dropped
ass.
it on his head. He's already barely able to
We
keep up
almost
with it.
lost a seed first off in the first
Paper
place.
toweled it?
Yeah, it was all
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
See,
good.
so come on down to So High Cafe, 4300 Alameda.
West Alameda.
West Alameda.
God,
Dave
dude.
Ozo Coffee.
OzoCoffee.com. You enter Dunn Deal 2024 at checkout. You get 20% off all of your coffee orders. The beans are sent green to Boulder, roasted here, and it's just something about roasting it at altitude. It maintains the coffee terps.
Nobody complains about the coffee. Huh?
Nope. OzoCoffee.com.
They're starting
Dunn
to figure
Deal.
it out, huh, Vinny?
They are starting to figure it
2024.
out.
It's taken a while.
Took a little while, but
20% off. Buildasoil.com, 855-877-SOIL. It's Build a Soil Days.
If you need
they have
anything organic, you need like any organic inputs, this is your
Oh, this is the place to go.
one-stop shop. They're in Montrose, so
People,
like you can't
you
really
need the right
drive.
inputs, or else why
Living
bother?
Soil
They have the best.
Cup.
The best.
November 2nd and 3rd, 2024.
Oh,
Buildasoil.com.
Yo tip.
Yo tip.
The most amazing new product I
Yo
think we have ever tried on the show.
tip.
It's been keeping us safe. You know what, Jane? You like this. I came up with the ad, right? We're going to have AI create it.
Okay.
It's 5 people in a circle sharing a joint.
Gunna, you could have had it done by the Ford. Like,
No, we
the
did.
end of
We
the
kind of
show.
did it. We kind of did it, but we'll have it. I'll have it for next week. It's 5 people sitting to smoke a joint, and it rolls back where you were 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Did you wash your hands? Did
I
you
don't
wash
know.
your face?
Yeah. What?
Did you clean up after?
Oh my God.
Where were you? What were you doing?
After what?
Right, exactly. And you're sharing a joint with this person.
I
So
know.
are you-
Oh, right. Okay. No, I mean, I
my
never wash my
God.
hands,
So
so I
it-
was like, I didn't know if you like were.
It's
washing
your
me before.
barrier of protection
Excuse me.
against
From
all
Dave's snot joints.
No,
snot
it's
joints.
It keeps you
Dave's
healthy.
snot.
Like, legit,
Dave's not here.
legit.
It
Dave's not
does.
here.
It really does.
Like
It's
if
right
you,
here.
yeah.
No
There's
COVID,
so many
no
things
wook
I went
flu.
to early on, and we shared joints, and it was so stupid, and I should have had a yo tip.
That's it.
Well, 'cause you always had
Yo
your
tip.
parties on the first day too, so if you got sick on that day,
Yeah,
you're fucked.
I mean,
You
come
were
on.
like-
we're
you were
all
like the-
we're
the-
all also coming from like different
You were around zero.
environments.
And you had a lot of women at your party too, so everybody wanted to share joints with them.
Yes,
You could
of
track it by
course.
the lipstick. Probably.
True. We
Right?
could.
It saves you from lipstick too.
Definitely.
So it's a better way to smoke. So
5
even
shades of lipstick later, you're like, holy shit.
You're
this
like,
is
oh
just
boy.
lipstick.
remember this: even when you're by yourself, this yo tip brings the smoke down to a single millimeter point. It's like it's a
Yep.
fantastic way
Yep.
to make your joint hit better.
I could not agree
YoTip.com.
more. I'm actually working on glass joint tips right now for that exact reason.
No glass.
Like,
Glass has a bad mouthfeel, but just
I
make it
understand
so
what
it can
you're
fit
saying.
in our yo
I'm
tip.
not, yeah, but the point is more that like
Jane
you are
West yo
lighting
tips. Yo
something on
Jane.
fire, literally 6 inches from
Look
less
at
than
that.
6 inches from.
That's a
your face,
yo
like,
tip
right there.
XL for the gifted
Oh
smoker.
wow!
Right?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
see?
yeah. No, you definitely want that. So like
Yeah, Dave.
YoTip.com.
any amount of time you can withhold it from hitting the back of your throat and like inhaling it, the better.
Vinny,
Vinny Bob, you're
please,
missing out. Come on.
you're missing out. This is
What?
gold.
No, I'm.
Radio gold right here. Oh my
I-
goodness! Will you make
He
the
is
note in
being
the ship's
respectful
log?
and selling amazing barbecue. BTW.
Greenfarmsmed.com. You go to
W.
greenfarmsmed.com. Check out their menu, but then visit them in
Mm-hmm.
person. Tell them you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show. I think if
Green
we
Farms.
had a contest of how many active SKUs you could buy in Colorado.
If you went
Green
by
Farms Med.
SKUs per
Yep.
square meter,
I can see that.
Inch.
he would win.
That
Yeah.
sounds about
Like
right.
SKUs per square foot.
Yeah, you got to think about that
Because
for a
it's not a
second.
very big footprint,
No.
but he's got an amazing amount of products in the same space.
So greenfarmsmed.com, tell
Yeah.
me you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show. You must be a medical patient. So if you need a medical card, you can head over to Holos Health. Is it holoshealth.com?
Yep, holoshealth.org.
.org.
Dave.
HOLOS.
That's it. And Dr. Joe Cohen runs this company
You know
for the
Joe.
past 20 years here in Colorado. He'll take care of all your certification needs. You become a medical patient. You give him a call. You use the Dunn deal. I think it's 20% off.
Green Bros.
They make the finest post-harvest trimmers in the entire industry. So they don't just make trimmers, they make almost pluckers. So they handle your cannabis with kid gloves better than humans can do it. So they figured this out, that they have this M Plus that runs $9,000. It pays for itself after you run it for 4 hours. So after
That is
4
such a
hours,
bold
it's
statement.
all. It
It
is.
must be true.
You have to have the weed to put in it.
If you have the
You have
weed to put in
just
it,
turn it on and wait. Here
and
comes the money.
and you're
The
paying a
monies.
trim crew,
Good point.
it can trim in 1 hour what 2 8-hour teams can do in a shift. Okay,
That's legit.
That
That's
is legit.
legit.
It becomes
Wait, no,
several
that's
$1,000s per harvest. Okay, so you go to greenbros.com, you give them a call, you tell them you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show, speak to a rep there. You can grind
Yep.
like you were grinding coffee.
Yep.
Like it's a burr
You
grinder for
could
cannabis.
also grind coffee if you just chose to do so. You could.
Need a trimmer for home? Check out the Harvest Bucket.
But
That-
it does.
that
But
is
what it
an
does is it
amazing
doesn't just
product.
grind it. Because the thing when you're making coffee, it grinds it in one size. This actually grinds it into 2 different sizes, so that when it goes into your thing,
even
it doesn't.
better.
Because if it's all one size, you'll end up with a joint that doesn't really hit really good.
Yeah. No. Even better.
And if you are a grow that is large enough to really be pumping out the pre-rolls, they make a product called the Holy Roller. The big one that is $350,000 can make 500 to 700 joints an hour. But they have a single lane, begins at 125 grand. Go to greenbros.com.
Apothecary Farms, if you want like concentrates, you want to go check out Colorado and Oklahoma's concentrate focused dispensary. They got all new disposable vapes in for all kinds of levels, price points, rosin ones, and you can get all their great products. Apothecaryfarms.com.
The best dab rig, in my opinion, that runs on batteries, the DabX Go. It hits first hit like a second hit, like a third hit, all hits like the first hit. It is, you just load up your dabs
Very
and you keep going. No, you don't have to worry about cleaning it every hit. You're not burning through Q-tips. We used maybe 2 terp wipes for a session. Your vapor and your reclaim never share the same path. Reclaim goes down, vapor goes up. It is just a genius piece of technology. And if you enter Dunn Deal at checkout, you get 20% off your order.
14 or bolder.
The same thing. If you go to their website,
Yep.
14erbolder.com,
Good
and
one.
enter Dunn Deal at checkout, you will too will get 20% off your pre-order. So you have to take a moment ahead of time, visit the website, fill your cart, Dunn Deal at checkout, 20% off. The flour is on point. The rosin is absolutely amazing. They have any product that you buy there was made with 14er flour. So if it's a tincture, if it's an edible, if it's topical, if it's a hash hole, it is all 14er flour, and it is fantastic. Yes, try the
So how are your
DJC.
stocks doing? So graphs and charts.
HumboldtHumidors.com. Done deal at checkout. 20% off any humidor. We handed these out to like 20 different industry people, and even the ones in Colorado were able to keep it at 55% relative humidity. They do exactly what they say they do. They keep your weed, what, Jane? The M word?
Perfect.
Moist.
Moist.
And they have jars that you can keep in the humidor that allow the moisture to penetrate. So humbledhumidors.com.
Penetrate.
Done deal at checkout.
Yeah, he said it.
Kawhi
Also
Hemp.
on Flower Shop, done deal. 30% off. That's what I was just checking.
Mark is going to make sure you're the last.
Don't you
ad.
worry.
You'll have better with Jane in there. So
Just trying to
here's what they
fix it.
have going right now. If you go to KawaiHempCo.com and you have a pet at home, you can get on their monthly plan where they send you a tincture, a bottle of tincture for your pet once a month. It's $21
good. That's a good
delivered
plan.
to the mainland.
solid.
Okay, so it is solid, organic, Kauai grown CBD, safe for your dog. Enter Done Deal at checkout. If you're a deadhead, you got to support this company. It's actually called Bill the Drummer's CBD for pets.
Wonder who that is.
Okay.
Stundenglas.
This
Oh,
rig
Stunden.
is just something else. It's
Can't figure out a gravity bong? This is a way classier way to do it.
If you want to
Don't put your lips on it.
You don't. What?
You don't have to.
I know, but I did the first time.
touched
And
it?
it
Of course
was
you
like,
did.
I was like a total idiot.
You went and touched your lips to it.
Yes, I did.
Crazy.
You
Well, if
put
it's
your
your own
lips to the
personal
tip.
one, you can do whatever the hell you want.
We were using yo
No,
tips
you're
on
right.
the end of our.
Yeah,
You
we
put
had a
yo
yo
tip
tip.
on there.
We put a yo tip on the
yeah.
end of there. It was nice.
As usual,
Tip
yo
that
tip comes in
yo.
the clutch.
So this is a weird discount. You get 23% off any Stundenglas order by entering Done Deal at checkout.
But they got personal size, just regular dab rig type things. They use the same atomizer, and
That's pretty cool.
It really hits like a champ.
Yeah.
Order Tech Direct.
The most amazing, technologically advanced, two-walled greenhouses where all the mechanicals are on the interior wall. We have a friend who was on the show. He has a grow in North Dakota. Went through a massive storm, minus 70 degrees for 3 days at 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and the temperature never changed from 72 degrees inside his grow.
Perfect.
Oh,
he just laid there in a
that's
fucking
perfect.
hammock.
Okay, yeah.
Got a hammock. And he was just laying
Yeah, I'm
in
sure
there.
they
Yeah.
were worried. You go to hoardertechdirect.com, you give them a call, and you tell them you heard about it on the show. They're going to take really good care of you. Do make sure after you buy that greenhouse that you get your 6 free trim brushes.
6.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell him Dave sent
Not
you.
last year was like 5.
that was Dave's little deal he made.
So
Now you get
I don't
six.
know.
Such a good. He's such a good negotiator.
Turpwipes.com/donedeal.
good.
That's all you need to know.
Don't let Dave get them though.
Turpwipes.com/donedeal.
He'll never get them.
I have an excuse
Exactly.
today.
Yeah, for sure. You don't get them.
Turpwipes.com
Today
slash.
only.
Well, because today I go through one of my little life.
Turpwipes.com/done deal.
Wipe your life clean.
That's the
in
only way to do it.
Turpwipes.
Yeah, you
Get
can
the
wipe your
subscription.
life clean right
You're
here.
gonna need them.
There you go.
Yeah, you see.
You're gonna be sad without them.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
sad.
Bio365.com.
Ooh, I'm gonna get a shipment coming in soon. I am so stoked.
Just give them a call. Tell them what you're doing.
I'm
They'll
so
try to
stoked.
match what you have going. They'll provide a better product at a better price. Bio365.com.
Last time they delivered them right when we went out of town, and that was like Cece and Nick and Ace had to both. I'll carry them all up to the house. It was like 85 bags.
Nick, how many bags did you grab? 20. What? Your
No.
dad worked you for 7 days?
I wish.
Always walking
Ace
the
did all-
bags uphill?
Ace did all the work.
Oh my God.
Come on now.
Bio365.com.
Come on now.
Numb nuts.
Go to numbnutsco.com. This peanut butter rocks. Enter Done Deal at checkout. 20% off all the CBD peanut butter. But if you're a medical patient in Colorado,
Yeah.
you click the Find Our Nuts button. And then you can buy a 1,000 milligram tub of THC peanut butter. Numbnutsco.com.
Is it R, like the
Sunscape.
letter R, or like OUR?
What?
Numbnutsco.
Find our nuts.
Oh, no,
Hour.
no, no.
It's on the page.
It's on the page. It's a button on the page.
All right, good.
At numbnutsco.com.
Go to
Tickle,
the page.
tickle the button.
SunscapeLED.com. The lights come from the Chinese mining industry. They are virtually indestructible. You go to sunscapeled.com, then you give him a call. You tell him you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show. It's not only his illumination, it's his integrated control system that he designed. They designed these lights specifically thinking of how to take people to rosin production, and they have the data to back it up. sunscapeled.com.
Jerome Baker.
He's a great guy. So when I was in Vegas, after I busted out of the tournament, he gave me a call. trying to cheer me up.
Oh, did you go sleep on their floor? What'd you do? Hey,
No, I
curled
had
up
to play.
in a fetal position,
He's
crying.
just, he's.
You lost again.
No. Ready
He's
for
doing
this?
a collaboration with the same company that makes my glass.
Oh,
Nice.
shit.
Yeah.
You know what he said he was going to do?
What?
Collaborate
No,
with
no, no,
Jay
no,
West
no.
on a giant project.
What activity would he be doing just in general? He was going to ride a motorcycle and invited me. I'm like,
that
you're out of
sounds
your
alright.
fucking
Okay.
mind.
Ride a motorcycle.
Yeah, I
What,
can see
what,
He's
Dave
going to ride motorcycles
doing
in Las
that.
Vegas at 100 degrees.
Out,
You know.
like what? Go dirt bike?
I don't. He said he's going to ride motorcycles.
like-
Want to come? I'm like, no. I just haven't ridden a motorcycle.
You should have rode it on the back. I could
Dave hasn't been on
oh,
wheels
Riding
since
bitch.
Hitman.
I'm gonna ride bitch.
picture.
No.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. You know.
First off, we talked about this. It was
Vegas
one
is
time
one
in
of those cities
college.
that
Everybody's
I
seen
needed
you.
the money.
Everyone's seen you.
I'm glad when I finally
Here's
got.
Dave
I
riding
hate
bitch.
you so much.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Jane's
That's a
down
good
with
one.
that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
JeromeBakerGlass.com.
There he is.
Hold on, and let me do something here.
He's adding better with Jane. Come on, you got it, Mark. You can do it.
So it's fine.
Yes, it's a white page.
You
Yep.
can do it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, betterwithjane.com.
The best thing you can do is go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, and I promise I won't spam you. But I'm just like anti-social media right now, so anything you want to actually hear will be on janewest.com. So go there, sign up for the newsletter, use those links at the bottom. I made sure they're accurate. They'll take you to other stuff I'm trying to do. Mostly.
Is there a Dr. Phil link in here?
There is not,
How could you
unfortunately,
not
at
have a
this
Dr. Phil
moment,
link? There
because
she
he has
is.
started his own network.
Show
Oh,
it.
there you go.
Show
See the
it.
one? See the one where I'm
Wow.
like, what are you doing?
Look
Show
at
them.
you.
I know. So this is Better with Jane, my Instagram handle. But I'm really, I mean, they've taken away so many.
Why the fuck was lifestyle in quotes?
I know, isn't that
What
funny?
the fuck is that?
I thought that was. Oh my god, I'm so glad. That was actually a comment of. I have a comment somewhere, but I also was like, that is hilarious. I'm just glad it's all overall. It was like a strong sub argument or
That's like
counter
going,
argument.
Welcome Jane West to the show. Marijuana. Lifestyle.
Yeah, her lifestyle brand.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Breads.
And the other woman was like, you're trying to make this fun and cool, and I'm like, yeah.
Because it is.
But yeah. So.
And is there a done deal at the?
Yes.
Yeah, done deal. DUNNDEAL, one word. Done deal at flower.shop, FLWR.shop. And I will add in a little moon calendar with your order, anything bought at Flower Shop. And that would be awesome. If you buy some of my stuff, it'd be really great.
Check it out.
Done deal never expires. Ever.
Ever.
And then,
Oh, you
got
might want
high.
to check with Build a Soil before you do something like that. We kind of broke their system once.
Okay.
Just pay attention.
Make sure it works.
Yes.
So we'll go
How about it expires
Can you
at the
guys
end
please
of time?
break my system?
Can
And like so many people buy my stuff that I have to be like, guys,
Rosin Dogs. Get
let's
on
turn this deal off.
it. Yes.
Vinny, you are so
That'd be
missing
great.
out. Betterwithjane.com or theflowershop.com. Done deal at checkout.
one more shout out to James Bean and Seeds Here Now.
Whoa, that does not look AI at all.
Yeah, no,
Go for it.
it's looking all good.
Those are real
right.
plants right there. Seedsherenow.com. Done deal at checkout. 10% off your order.
And don't forget,
Gold
through the
standard.
weekend, if you order Skunk Really Works, was it Skunk Really Works?
Yes.
Yeah. Genetics, you will get extra, what is it? Donkey's dick? I think
Donkeys,
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Somebody's
no,
dick.
no.
Bigfoot stick.
It was
No,
Bigfoot.
I'm Bigfoot stick.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Bigfoot Sour Diesel
I
was
can't
what the
remember, dude.
picture represented.
No,
the truck
no.
I was
said
trying to
Sour
remember the
Diesel,
best I
and
could.
Bigfoot was driving
Had
it.
nothing to do with it.
And we'll have
Different
a
story.
new read next
I put
next
money
week,
on that right now. I
everybody.
think that's what.
No, you are
And then
correct in that.
Don't forget,
picture, but not what we're talking
AdamDunnShow.com,
about.
show merch. Come check out some show merch here. I mean,
Show merch. Show merch. Show merch.
Show merch.
Show merch. Very nice.
Show merch.
Oh, very good. Okay.
yeah, so yeah, do that. All right.
Please
Thank
do
you
that.
all for
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, yes, another amazing performance by everybody.
We'll
guys
see you
did-
next week.
Oh,
Shannon
everybody
Donnelly,
do
who
the,
teaches here in town, is
you have
going to be on the
curtsy.
show.
You have to curtsy at the end. We do a little thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Jane West. You're the best.
Once again.
You're welcome
Cast
anytime.
party.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a cast party afterwards.
Cast party. Everybody get
Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah,
Patreon.
Scarlett Johansson's
It's
here.
free
grab a-
entry.
Grab a
Yep.
goodie bag on the way out.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
Wait, let's
Lindsay
tell
Lohan.
them. It's free entry to the cast party here
Kristen
with
Wiig.
a one
Leslie
brisket
Jones.
minimum.
Wow, that's all it takes.
Yeah,
That's
one
it.
brisket minimum. But also, if you are far away from us and you want to check out, you just go to that Patreon link, patreon.com/AdamDunnShow.
That's right.
And that's basically the cast party. And we'll give you a Zoom link to come talk to us.
Thank you,
And we
everybody.
have videos
Get in
and
the
cool
groove.
stuff. And I'm going to roll up.
Get in the grow with Adam.
See, I made some lambs.
Yeah, great.
Did a lammy. I'm gonna
Oh,
whip up
lamb.
I'm gonna roll up a lammy.
That's gonna be
smoke this whole
nice.
place out. Really smoke this barbecue.
Yeah.
Pit
He's
out.
gonna hate you.
He's gonna hate me. I know. So what? What's going on?
See you next week, guys. Peace.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
We want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it ganja.